I'm coming for all of you. Right now, there's a 15-year-old sophomore in high school who has no idea they're studying nursing just so they can wipe my ass in 17 years. I'm 50 and single. That's a fantastic combination. I'm going to spend my golden years dating a handful of spit and a jug of Astroglide. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcast. Lashana Tova, everybody. Happy Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah? Lashana Hova? that's the celebration of Jay-Z's birthday, by the way, Lashana Hova. That's how the Jews celebrate Jay-Z's birthday. And the J in Jay-Z, of course, stands for Jewish. He's Jewish Z. That's who he is. He's got dirt on his gabardine shoulder, or perhaps that's dandruff because he's one of the diamond merchants in fucking downtown New York, and they got the dirty gabardine with their dandruff on their shoulders. What movie's that from? Everybody out there who knows movies, go ahead and write me. I need it right now. You know what? I'm going to stand down. I'm going to wait. I'm going to check let's go to the emails right now and see exactly what everybody has to say. Still waiting, folks. Lines are open. All 15 lines are open right now. Let's check with my producer. What do you say, sir, ma'am, whatever, whoever the fuck's here producing the show? Nobody? Oh, of course not. It's just me talking in a fucking space on Rosh Hashanah, which is terrible, kid, man. Because you never want to spend a Rosh Hashanah by yourself. I've never have. This is my first Rosh Hashanah alone. This is my first, and so imagine saying Lashana Tova to yourself all goddamn day. That's not fucking exciting for anybody. And I know I've got plenty of Jewish listeners out there. Why didn't you reach out to me on this Rosh Hashanah? Why didn't you scoop me up and have me over for your Seder? Is that now? I don't know. When's your Seders? That's all coming up, isn't it? I think so. I know, because I have my own Seder. I got a Schmidt Seder that I have. And you know what I serve at my Schmidt Seder? Cider. I got cider at my Seder. Will you have me at your Seder? Bring me to your Seder, I'll bring cider. I'll serve cider at your Seder. Or are you saving that seat for Elijah? Perhaps that's who you are. Or Jebediah. Was it Jebediah? Jacob? Isaiah? It's Isaiah. You're saving it for Isaiah Thomas. That's what you're doing. At your place of Sedering, you've saved a seat for Isaiah Thomas. And I can't blame you. And not Isaiah Thomas, the new Isaiah Thomas. Is he even related? I don't even know if he is. He's now a Cleveland Cavalier. But he was a Boston Celtic last year. And then he hurt his hip. And then he was traded in a trade for Kyrie Irving. And Kyrie Irving, by the way, is a basketball player who this week, I don't know if you know this, and look, this show may lean toward the sports-centric because that's where my brain is right now, other than being at a Seder and wanting to think about Jewish things. You would think to yourself, I think my throat just made a noise. Did you guys hear that? That was fucking awful. Man, I am getting old because I'm starting to get like a weird spit thing when I do this show now, where spit's kind of gathering in the front of my mouth, and I have to wipe my fucking lips, I don't know if you can fucking hear that, because I'm scared to death that you guys are gonna hear fucking bubbling and gurgling and go, Jesus Christ, he's doing the show in a bog. Where the fuck is this dude? God, I just wanted to use the word bog. I'm so happy this came up. I've been thinking to myself for weeks, you gotta work bog into the show, buddy. And everybody's like, blog? Well, you can't blog. It's kind of a verbal blog anyway, a podcast. And I'm like, no, bog. Like fucking the kind of blog that Brenda Vaccaro drowned Don Stroud in the film The House by the Lake when I was a kid, and I watched Showtime in the middle of the night when my mom didn't want me to watch it. God, I think I've got all those actors and titles correct. Go ahead and Google that and let me know. But I know it was Don Stroud, and someone got shoved down into like a bog, into some quicksand, and he wound up drowning because he was a Brenda Vaccaro was getting terrorized by people. I think it was like a classier version of I Spit on Your Grave. And I know what you're thinking to yourself. Any version of I Spit on Your Grave would be a classier version than I Spit on Your Grave as long as they change the fucking name. Even I Spit on Your Grave would be a classier version of I Spit on Your Grave as long as you change the goddamn name. Unless it was you did something terrible like I Spit on Your Anus, which is a movie I actually saw. Actually, I apologize. I didn't see I Spit on Your Anus. I saw I Spit on Your Anus 3. So I missed the first two. Did not catch the nuances, but that's okay. You know what? You can fall right into the storyline. If you go ahead and catch any of the I Spit on Your Anuses, if you miss the first couple, you're going to be fine on 3, 4, and 5. And I believe 6. Did 6 come out yet? I don't know. It's coming out soon. I think that's a Christmas release. They want I Spit on Your Anus. I Spit on Your Amos. That was actually a movie made by the Keebler-Elves because they were furious at Famous Amos for his chocolate chip cookie wranglings. He tried to impede on their fucking progress. He's like, fuck you. And this is not known to everybody. Famous Amos once chopped down the Keebler-Elves tree. And then they built in another tree. He chopped that down too. He's like the big bad wolf. Except for chasing pigs, he's chasing elves because he wants to make sure he corners the market on the chocolate chip cookie fucking racket. And then the elves are pissed off, so they spit on their Amos. I spit on your Amos. Right now I'm going to spit on an ignoramus who couldn't fucking get the word correctly. That's a wrong adverb. I should not put the Lee on there. Correct. Not correct. I didn't get the word correctly. I get the word correct. But this is what happens when you're talking in circles. So it's Rosh Hashanah, and I feel bad for talking about Famous Amos destroying elves' trees and then the cookie racket. Because you remember the cookie wars back in the 80s? That was terrifying. That's actually what Miami Vice was based on, the television show. Crockett and Tubbs. It was initially, that was Famous Amos and an elf. They had teamed up together to go ahead and fight crime and go ahead and try to be uniting the world of cookies. They made that show as a way to bring the two factions together, the two warring cookie factions together. Famous Amos was an actual dude. Like, I don't even know if he was... See, the Keebler elves are just dudes. They're just elves. And I think they just sell the cookies. They proclaim in the commercials that they cook the cookies, but I don't think they do. I think there's a fucking factory or like a company that does it. But Famous Amos, I think he went around and he's just like, hey, dude, look at my hat and I also make cookies. And everybody's like, yeah, that's pretty cool. So he might have been the actual cook. He might have been the guy who came up with the recipe because the elves did not come up with the recipe for the fucking cookies. I defy them. I dare them to show up in a court of law and show me their scroll of tree-based recipes for cookies. I don't believe it. Fuck you, Fudge Stripes. That's not happening. By the way, fuck you, Fudge Stripes. It literally say that as your next insult to anybody. Anybody you're in a fight with, anybody in traffic. Do me a favor. If you're in traffic, guy cuts you off. Pull up to him at a stoplight and just go, fuck you, Fudge Stripes, just to see what he does. He's going to get pissed, first of all, because of the fuck you, but then the Fudge Stripes is going to boggle his fucking mind, or might bog his mind. Oh, dude, that's the verbal equivalent of you being Fred Vaccaro and pushing his Don Stroud down into the traffic-laden bog. Boy, this is a fucking weird show already, for fuck's sake. But this is what happens when you got nothing to talk about. You just go ahead and fire away at all the neurons that are in your brain. And then you wind up bringing to life this kind of a fucking nonsense mess. All right, so my point is, again, cookies. Let's talk about those for just a second. No, we weren't. We were done with Famous Amos. And I spit on your anus, number 6. I spit on your Amos 6. Now, that seems lame. Because I don't know why Famous Amos would allow them to spit on him 6 fucking times. That doesn't make any sense at all. If elves spit on me once, my head is constantly on a swivel for the next spitting elf. I will look around and try to find a spitting elf at all turns. I will look on the grassy knoll. I will look up in the book depository. There will be no spitting elf that lands a shot on me again after the first one. That's like a famous story. There was a basketball player named Dwayne Shinsius. Did I talk about this on the show? I might have. It's always in my brain. This is really totally true. Dwayne Shinsius was a basketball player for the University of Florida. 7 feet tall, and he fancied himself a Bosworth type, because he was like a big fucking tall white dude with a bad haircut, and he was a jag-off to everybody. The only thing is he didn't have the talent that fucking Bosworth had. And I know you're thinking to yourself, well, Bosworth had no talent. Fuck that. Bosworth was a badass college linebacker. Sure, he got to the pros and he couldn't take the spike anymore, and he got run over by fucking Bo Jackson. He was injured all the goddamn time, and he was basically a haircut, which is fine. And that's what Shinshis was in college, though. He was just a haircut, but he happened to be bigger than everybody. Bosworth was at least fast and had some talent. Now, was he taking the spike in school? Yeah, he was, because he was suspended for it. So maybe he's a steroid-laden creature. Maybe he was created out of steroids. Maybe he's completely the product of a needle. I don't know. I'm not. I didn't start the show with the intention of defending Brian Bosworth, but here we are. And I'm going to go ahead and draw my line in the sand and say Brian Bosworth, much better example of the dorky white athlete with a bad haircut than Dwayne Shinshis. You can go ahead and look it up. You can compare the numbers. And I don't give a fuck if it's different sports. Look at Dwayne Shinshis' career numbers at Florida as a basketball player, and then go ahead and look at Brian Bosworth's career numbers at Oklahoma as a football player, and I guarantee you Bosworth comes out on top. Even in jag-offery. Because Dwayne Shinshis, the only thing I knew about him is he did this. This is a guy, he's a 7 feet tall guy. I think I've told the story on the show before, and let's put it this way. If I have, you don't remember it. I would be the only person who remembered myself talking about Dwayne Shinshis. There's nobody out there who's like, oh man, remember the time when Schmitty talked about Dwayne Shinshis? No, nobody remembers that at all. Nobody has a fucking clue. So I don't know why I keep fucking precluding myself from telling you about it, thinking that I've done it in the past, but then again, here I am trying to tell you again that I'm going to tell you about it again. Fuck. All right, so Dwayne Shinshis is a basketball player. He played for Florida. Big guy, white dude, bad fucking haircut, like lines shaved into the side of his head, like that fucking, Snow from Informer, Vanilla Ice type of fucking cut. But also Bosworth. But at least Bosworth had the balls to go full, like, kind of mohawk. This dude had, like, the fucking lines. You know what I mean? Those leveled lines. I don't even know what the fuck that was. Some white dude walked in and said, shave a staircase into my fucking head. I don't know what the plan on that was. I don't know if he was blending in with teammates or trying to make it work. Because black dudes can get whatever they want done in their hair, and it looks fucking amazing. Because it's fucking shaped, and they put letters in it, and then curly cues and all sorts of stuff, and they can pull it off. But fucking white dude's just, like, stupid. It's like when white dudes try to get dreads. What the fuck are you doing, man? Now you're just dangerous. Now you're just fucking wrong. Now you're just asking to be, like, an extra in a fucking Tarantino script. White guy with dreads should always be in a Tarantino script as a guy getting shot. Like Drexel. When Oldman was fucking Drexel in True Romance. That's what all of those white dudes, I guess they think they're that. But instead, they don't realize they just come off as like one of the fucking. You know what they look like? Any white guy with dreads looks like a puppet from Fraggle Rock. You know those fucking puppets with the crazy fucking hair? I think I was gonna say crazy, and I think I said gravy. Gravy hair is bad news. Oh, I don't want a hair in my gravy. Ugh. But I'll tell you what though, if you make a fucking bacon gravy, you can put hair in it. It's not gonna be bad. If you could pull off a fucking badass bacon gravy and just put some hair in it, I'd eat it. I would eat. You know what? I'm going on the record again, folks. This show is it's a big one for pronouncements. So I tell you right now, I go on the record. I would eat a bowl of bacon gravy with hair in it. That seems strong. Let me take that back. All right, let me walk this back. Let's all run this back. I'm not even going to walk it back. I'm going to fucking run it back. I'm going to go with a full sprint. I would never eat a bowl of bacon gravy, even if it had, even without hair. Even without hair. I'm not. Let's stop acting like the hair is an accoutrement that I want in my bacon gravy. I love bacon gravy, and I love to smother everything with bacon gravy because I'm the fattest man on earth. However, I guess my point was saying, if your bacon gravy is good enough, it wouldn't bother me that there was hair in it. I don't want to make it sound like I would eat bacon gravy only if you put hair in it, because that's fucking disgusting. And it also makes all of my upcoming road trips a danger, because every time I go into a breakfast joint, they're going to go, hey, there's the dude who likes fucking hair in his bacon gravy, and then the whole kitchen grabs out the clippers and fucking makes me a bowl of goddamn follicle soup, and I don't want that. Nobody wants that. Even though it sounds like I just did, so let's run it back. We're running it back. No more walking it back. We're running it back. However, I also want to go on the record with this. I would never eat a bowl of bacon gravy by itself. I'm not a monster. Jesus, that's the kind of shit that gets you on that My 600-Pound Life show, where those people are washing themselves with snow shovels and all sorts of other bullshit. Those people who can't fit in the shower, so they sit on the toilet and they can't put their foot up to clean it. Oh, man, what a fucking mess. I can't even... Look, I got there. All right, I was close. I was $5, but I could at least wash myself. I could reach all those hard-to-reach places. I didn't have to wash myself with a rag and a stick. I didn't need a fucking elaborate set of pulleys and ropes to try to wash my ass. All right, I made sure, because I was like, all right, look, you're a big fat dude and you got to do something about it, so go ahead and fucking clean yourself the best you possibly can. And by that I mean stay in here for an hour to make sure every fucking inch of you is scrubbed. But it was never that case, because I could reach everything. Because that's another thing, I wasn't like, those people on the 600-pound show, they're fat and sad. I was fat, and I was a weird... I was sad deep inside, but not on the outside. I was a jovial guy. Hey, look at me. And I was still like semi... Boy, I don't want to use that word. I'll take that back. I was presentable. Let's put it that way. I just looked zoftig. I just looked like a big dude. I looked almost like like one of those fucking, is it a Rubin painting? Did you draw like fucking hot, like big round chicks? But that's what I looked like. I just looked like a parade float with a goatee. I didn't look like a fucking mess. And, you didn't look at me and go to yourself, Jesus Christ, I wonder how that guy washes. You know what I mean? I didn't have an odor about me, because sometimes you'll meet fat dudes and they're just like, nah, it's like, dude, you got to put a Febreze around you. You got to do something. Let's get a Febreze yourself. Get something in those folds. Put a couple of those pine trees in those folds, man. You know what? I know you don't have a rearview mirror hanging off you, but you probably should. You're big enough that you could. But just in case, why don't you go ahead and throw some pine trees around your fucking neck? And look, I'm not casting aspersions. I was a big dude. I had those sorts of problems. I'm still a big dude. I wish I could be less of a big dude. I need to start working at it. But I will tell you this, there's that part of me, and I will be truly honest with all of you out there right now, because that's what I do, or I try to do occasionally. By occasionally, I mean all the time. Fuck, quit talking in circles. I'm a guy who, I go and lift. I lift 3 times a week with our friend John, and the cardio's on the shelf, even though I have a nice shiny new pair of orange Nikes that I want to wear there and go and run on the treadmill. But I found myself not exactly making time for cardio. Cardio's like Jell-O. There's always room for cardio, but I, however, shun the Jell-O. I shun the cardio. You know what I also shun? I shun the cardio Jell-O. That's not good at all. I can go on a treadmill and eat Jell-O, because Jell-O's like fucking nothing, right? Jell-O's just like eating air. Jell-O's like celery. That's what I should eat from now on. Fucking lime Jell-O with celery floating in it? I wouldn't gain a goddamn ounce. In fact, I would lose weight. I think the art of masticating the celery itself goes ahead and works off more calories than consuming the celery does. Right? Is that true? Chewing celery burns more calories than the celery that you're eating adds to your body. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm going to be a celery guy from now on. I used to say eating is for the weak. Fuck that. Now celery is for the strong. I go that route. I make lime Jell-O. I float some celery in it, and then I chew that up. Oh yeah, because it's all negative calories. I want to eat a bowl of negative. Fuck ions. Fuck positives. I want to eat a bowl of negative. I need to eat a bowl of negative soup. That's what I'm looking for. A big bowl of negative stew. Now, I told you I wouldn't eat a bowl of bacon gravy. I would eat a big bowl of negative soup. However, the bacon gravy would mask the hair. I do not want any hair in my negative soup. That is just a straight up Jell-O and celery obligation. That's all it's going to be. Jell-O's and celery. Jell-O's? Multiple Jell-O's? A rainbow Jell-O? Maybe I branch out. Maybe I get a bundt cake pan and I mix up a bunch of fucking Jellos. Because they have those things where they make the rainbow Jello mold, and it's like yellow on the bottom, and then orange, and then red, and then green. And I'm always fascinated by that technology because I don't know how the fuck they do that. Do they make the individual Jello layers and then stack them all together in a fucking pan? Or is there some kind of weird-ass multiple layered Jello rainbow pan that you can fucking make it? Because everything I know of is you boil the fucking Jello, you pour it in a bowl, and boom, tomorrow you got Jello. There's no tricks. There's no fanciness. I guess you can mix cream in your Jello too, or throw pears. If you want shit to float in there, you got to throw it in there like halfway through, right? I don't know. Fuck. I haven't read the box in a long time, and by a long time I mean ever. But I know I hear my old timey commercials. They're like, "Here, serve Jello to your family tonight," and they're like, "Put carrots in it." I'm like, holy fuck. No wonder we had 2 world wars. People wanted the draft when fucking families were serving Welsh rarebit and fucking Jello with carrots in it. I would immediately sign up to go overseas and battle the Krauts. God damn it. Fuck that. Nobody wants a bowl of Jello with carrots in it and a Welsh rarebit. And that's a total true thing. Look up Welsh rarebit, because I hear these old 50s commercials on my old time radio show, and they're like, here's what you do. You get a loaf of Velveeta, or you take half a loaf and you melt it down, and then you season it to taste. And I'm like, wait, well, no, that's... Why are you changing the name to Welsh rarebit? That's just melted fucking processed garbage. That's like eating a fucking orange mattress. That's disgusting. But literally, they want you to just melt Velveeta, and then you put in salt and pepper and Worcestershire sauce. And then you dunk bread in it. They were saying that was an alternative for a meal in the 50s. And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, how did we ever survive? I mean, if in the 50s we had ever eaten sushi, we would have thought to ourselves, well, fuck, man, Japan should have beaten us in that war, because they could have come over here and fucking made things perfect. We wouldn't have to eat fucking floating Velveeta cheese with goddamn Worcestershire sauce in it. What a mess. And then Jello with carrots. Holy fuck. I honestly, if I sat down to dinner with my family and they're like, all right, here's Welsh rarebit with some bread to dunk, and afterwards we've got Jello with carrots, I would literally stand up from the table and go, over there, and I would go to the nearest fucking army surplus store, buy boots, and march off into the fucking distance and take on whoever the fuck wanted to battle me. I would go fight. I would start a war. You know what? Fuck that. I go that route. If we're not at war, I would absolutely start a war. Did you hear me cover my mouth there because I had to wipe the spit off? I wouldn't even go to sign up for, if we're not at war, I would start a fucking war. It would be the great Jello carrot excursion, fucking police action of 2018. I don't know why I'm suggesting that somebody does this to me next year. Who's in my life that's going to serve me Jello and carrots now? Nobody. So it's not like I'm going to go start a war. And again, I'm old and lazy. So maybe now I just sit and take it. Maybe I just go full on rest home and just sit in a fucking chair and have some orderly come over and shove Jello and carrots in my fucking mouth, and I nod approvingly as they rifle through my drawers and steal my watch. And they steal my fucking Purple Heart and my money clip, because that's what you have when you're in an old folks home. That's part of the reason I want my dad's stuff. I didn't even know where the fuck it went. I remember I told you the story where my grandparents wouldn't give us my dad's stuff. Like, he had a Navy Cross, I think, and a fucking uniform. I don't know. He might not have had any of those fucking things. Bullshit. He had a Navy uniform. My mom said that. And he had watches and like jewelry my mom said she wanted us to have. But if I had that shit now, what would I use it for? What am I going to do it for? When I think back to those moments where my mom was like, we got to get that jewelry from your grandparents. I'm like, at the time I was like, fuck yeah, man, where is it? But in reality, I didn't give a fuck. Why do I want my dad's watch? You know what I wanted? My dad. That would have been pretty cool. If I could have salvaged him from my grandparents, we should have started this fight 5 years earlier. I could have saved him from fucking dying, maybe. Gotten him into a fucking rehab center. And then, you know what? He wouldn't have to leave me the jewelry, because like I just said, the orderlies would rifle through and they would steal his jewelry, and there'd be nothing for him to leave me. No legacy except maybe, I don't know, a pat on the head and telling me he liked me and he was proud of me. That'd be pretty cool. I wish I could get that from my fucking dad. If you know what, if fighting my grandparents 5 years earlier would have saved my dad's life, you should have taken me up there, because I'd have gone off like a fucking badger. I would have been like a cage Wolverine, just fucking open it up and point at those people. I would have fucking thrashed them within an inch of their lives. I don't give a fuck who it was. I would have gone straight up fucking Jackie Chan at all of my dad's fucking in-laws and parents and whoever the fuck. Not my dad's in-laws, that's my mom's parents. I gotta slow down. I just punched the wrong people in the wrong story. See what happens? See what happens when you get out of control, man? The wrong people get fucking jacked. Because I just called out my mom's parents, and I had no problem with them. I never met my grandpa on my mom's side, because he, before he met me, he met cancer, and that relationship ended poorly. And the weird thing is, you would think after cancer went ahead and took care of my grandfather, he would stay out of my life. He'd go, fuck, I got to avoid that guy, because I took his fucking grandfather away from him. But sure enough, he keeps showing up. He keeps coming from my mom. That's the fucking weirdest part. 3 times cancer's come from my mom. I can't imagine what it'd be like to be my mom, to deal with that. Like, her dad died of cancer. And I mean, let's face it, all of us, we're all going to get cancer. It's like that theory I have where we've all been molested. And I apologize for throwing that in your face, and I don't mean to trigger warning anybody. But, and this also might be the victim of molestation throwing it out there and going, hey, you guys are all like me, right? But as I've talked about in this country before, like I would never want to be a woman. I don't want to be a woman. I don't want to deal with the fucking hassles of being told to smile or to be and to feel better or to to have to. I mean, I have the internet. I don't want to be a woman, man. I got no fucking concept or clue of what it must be like to have to go and live your life in a way where there is an entire gender of people who think they're better than you and can tell you what to do. And it's not all men. You know what I mean? Not all, is that a bad thing to say? Not all men? Yeah, it is, right? That's the fuck. I see the trap I just fell in. Fuck. I guess what I mean is, as he fucking tries to backpedal out, hey, let's go back to famous Anus 6. How about that? I don't know. The point is I don't want to be a girl. I don't want to be that. I mean, I shudder for my fucking friends who have daughters, my brother, my nieces and stuff like that. I'm just like, God damn it. Because I would just be a nonstop punching machine if I ever had a fucking daughter. Any kid who came over and disrespected them, anything that ever went wrong, anything on the internet where anybody wrote mean stuff to them. And my friends have done a good job of kind of supervising and checking out what their kids do online. But if there was, can you imagine, like, dude, it literally, if there was like some fucking 40-year-old dude who started knocking on your 15-year-old daughter on the internet or saying things about her pictures, I would never stop hitting him. I would go to wherever he was and I would just keep hitting him until his face was raspberry jam. That's it. I would just fucking blast the fuck out of that dude until he'd finally look up. He'd look like Frank Mir after Brock Lesnar beat the fuck out of him and he'd just be like, what? He'd have a cartoon balloon over his head constantly that says, what? Or I'd Aldo Rain the motherfucker and just carve something on his goddamn forehead. You know what I'd carve in? I'd carve in his fucking, whatever his email address was or his texting phone number. And I just go, look, you get a fucking note from this motherfucker that you got to avoid this dude because he was macking on my 15-year-old niece. I'm angry. You know who I am? I'm the Dwayne Chinchis of podcasts. I never finished his story. Oh, hey, look at me remembering that. Dwayne Chinchis was a tall dude, very tall, so tall, like 7'2". And this is a true story. He'd be on campus at Florida and, he was 7'2" and was feeling himself because he was a basketball player. And so this is totally true. He literally told Sports Illustrated this. It wasn't like something that came out and something he was trying to hide. He was proud of it. When people would come up to him and they would say, hey, how's the weather up there? He would literally spit on them and he would say, it's raining. I guess confident in the fact that he was 7'2" and these people wouldn't knock the fuck out of him. Although, honestly, if you're 7'2", I got news for you. You spit on a dude, that guy's got full-on access to your ball bag. I mean, that's the first place a shot lands. You spit on a dude, he's not going to tackle you. He's not going to he's not going to hit you in the jaw. But he immediately fucking goes Roberto Duran on your entire ball bag and just spins the fuck out of it. And then you're fucking boned. Because then you're going to double over, and then he's going to RKO you right there and just fucking stand over you. And you know what he does? He returns the favor. He probably spits on you and not on your anus, unfortunately, even though you're wishing for it. That might be I Spit on Your Anus 7 when Dwayne Chinchis, when that comes out, he'll be the star. You got to figure a guy like that because he's got to be 40 now, 45, I would imagine. He was a little younger than me, and that could be completely wrong. He could be, I don't fucking know. He could be dead. Is Dwayne Chinchis dead? Let's go. Let's do that. You know what that sounded like? It sounded like the worst episode of In Search of with Leonard Nimoy in history. Like this weird like X-Files music. In search of Dwayne Chinchis. No one's looking for him. Fuck that. No, you know who's looking for him? Anybody he spit on in the fucking 80s. They're just like, I'm going to fuck that guy up. I'm going to find him and tune him the fuck up. Because he's 7'2". And 7'2" guys don't age well. Their body doesn't fucking work. Because they've been fucking carrying weird body frames and or body weight on that frame forever and just trying to remain upright when you're 7'2". I can't even imagine. Because it's bad enough. Look, I was 6'2" and 5 bills, so I was constantly worried about toppling forward. You know what I mean? I had to suck my gut. I learned how to walk while fat. WWF. Fuck World Wrestling Federation. Fuck World Wildlife Federation. That's walking while fat. I had that all fucking squared away. I just fucking stood upright and sucked my gut in and pumped my chest out forward. And I'm sure I looked like some old fucking colonel from the French Legion or some bullshit, but what you don't realize is I was just trying to make sure I didn't topple forward and fall down on my fat fucking face. Triple F. You want to go WWF? We go fat. I WWF'd so I wouldn't triple F. I WWF so I wouldn't FFF. I walked while fat because I didn't want to fall on my fat fucking face. That's quadruple F. So I learned to WWF so I wouldn't quadruple F. There you go. Take that. And now, it's funny. Hold on. A friend told me, some guy wrote me, and I don't even know if I'm going to leave that in the show. I might. Just this time I might this week, just to let you know what it's for. Friend of the show, Robert Chaz Shoot. Famed author Robert Chaz Shute. You can find his books on Amazon, and I think I'm in a couple of them actually. He named a detective after me, or he named, I don't look. And now Robert's gonna be mad because it's gonna show that I didn't really read his books. But I don't think I ever said that I read his books. I may have gone through and looked for my name. It's like when Rob Matsushita does something and he throws my name in something. It's fucking amazing. Like I'll wind up in a play or some shit, and I'm like, yeah, that's fucking cool. Well, Robert Chaz Shute, he put me in there. I think he actually had somebody listening to the podcast in one of his books. All right, look, let's be honest. Robert Chaz Shute doesn't exist. So Robert Chaz Shute, he wrote me because I last week said, hey, look, I hate stopping the show down. I hate stopping down to fucking write the name of what the show could be, because I used to have a producer who would get the titles and she would go ahead and give me a list. And she hadn't done that for like a year, the last year of the show. I would get the legal pad and there'd be like one thing written on it. I'd be like, well, I kind of liked when I had choices, but no, it doesn't matter. Who cares? But as it is now, of course, I don't give myself choices because then I would have to stop all the fucking time and write down the name of the goddamn show, and I can't do that. So last week I advanced the theory that I should have some sort of signal or something else I could do, like, and I wasn't sure whatever. I didn't know what the fuck it was going to be. Well, Robert Chaz Shute had a great idea. He's like, dude, here's what you do. You fucking, you clap 3 times and it makes the audible or the audacity spike. So, and then you scroll back through and you look and I'm like, well, I could just write down the time code. He's like, yeah, but this way you don't have to stop down. And so I said to him, I go, well, yeah, that's the thing is I don't like stopping down because I don't like the momentum. So if I have momentum rolling downhill and then I got to stop the fucking clap, then I got to pick up the show again and figure out exactly where I was. And I'll tell you what, matching my speaking and my breath from track to track, if I ever have to stop. That's why I like to do a one-take Jake. I like the whole fucking thing to roll downhill like a goddamn snowball or a big giant rock and smash right into Indiana Jones. And then I want a bunch of fucking natives to chase him over a goddamn hill and Dan Aykroyd to fly me away in a plane. That's how I like this podcast to work. I like to sprint away from natives and leap onto a biplane or a fucking seaplane that's being piloted by Dan Aykroyd. So I don't like to stop down. I don't want to stop down. And he's just like, well, just, here's your thing. Do clap 3 times. And I don't even know why you had to clap 3 times. I could have clapped once, probably. But that's the clapping you just heard. I just did it. I don't know if I what's funny? Literally, in my head, I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm going to leave it in there or not. Because I even wrote to him and I go, dude, I'll just fucking leave the clapping in there if I do that. That doesn't make any sense because then I'm down to edit the whole fucking thing out because I don't want to stop. That was the whole point, is I don't want to stop and edit out the clapping. And he's like, we don't have to edit out the clapping. You can, or you don't have to stop, he said. You can leave the clapping in and keep talking, but then you have to go back and it's like, but you don't understand. It's momentum. It's like, hold on. I think a plane's about to crash into my house. Fuck, do you hear that? Jesus, why do people get so close? It might be a helicopter. It might be the cops. It might be out looking. It could be Shinches. Or, that could be. It could be a family that was just served Jell-O and carrots. They're about to start the war that I talked about. They're off to go ahead and let people have it. They're like, fuck this. I don't like tasty lime shapes and fucking good eyesight. I need to start a war with another country, or at least another neighborhood. A neighborhood. Let's take on a neighborhood. And who are the people in your neighborhood? Let's put it this way. If you had to go to war with people, if you had to fight with your neighborhood, if you had to gather everybody up, because I've thought this. I've been in my building here for 20 years. People come and go. But I look around and I have there's Oscar who's here. I told you I thought he was going to shoot my duck, but then he didn't, thankfully. But he's a guy with guns. And let's talk about this for just a second. Well, first of all, hold on. Let's talk about this. If there was a zombie apocalypse, I always think about what I would have to do here in my building and who would be the leaders and who would be in charge. And I'm going to appoint myself one of the leaders. I mean, let's put it this way. I'm not a gun dude. I'm not like a weapons dude, but I think I'm a smart dude. And I'd be like, all right, we got to block this. We got to lock these things. We got to put, I would be in charge of like boarding up all the fucking windows. Now, when I say that, I would be in charge of telling everybody to board up all the fucking windows. Like I would know immediately because I've thought about the zombie apocalypse for fucking years and years. So in my house, I already know like the things that would be able to be put on the windows to prevent anybody from breaking in, and not prevent anybody, but at least certainly keep them from looking in at me while I shiver and cry over the fact that the zombies are here and they're eating everybody. But I got to figure me and Oscar would be the kings of the building. When I think about it, it's like, because at that point, fucking managers go right out the window. So like Naomi and Wayne, who are the managers of my building, they all authority is lost. And if anything, they become the fucking plow mules because of all the bullshit they've put us through here with the locks and the fucking locksmiths and not calling anybody. I say that. I make them the fucking slaves. They're in charge of boarding up all the fucking windows because I'll say, oh, you know what? Why don't you do all the maintenance that you didn't do while you were fucking here before the zombies came, you motherfuckers? Because I'll tell you what, I've been here 20 years. This is totally fucking true. If you came to my house, I have a fucking awesome pool. I mean, it's a really good pool. It's fun. It's nice to lay out at. I get nice weather because it's the valley. But here, listen to me, dude. They haven't bought any new pool furniture in 20 years. So it's these like decrepit Chase lounges and these fucking crunching plastic chairs that are filthy. And at least when I had other managers here, they'd walk around and they'd clean shit. I talked about how I used to have a fucking English chick who was here, and she was like, her and her boyfriend, and they had the cutest daughter of all time. I talked to by year 3, possibly. But she was just just the cutest little girl ever with like that. You know how the little kids have little teeth? Oh my God, I love little teeth. Like, not to the point where I want to hang them on a dashboard or anything or on a fucking rearview mirror, but I mean, when a little kid smiles and they got all those like little perfect teeth and then and their gums are like crazy, and they're just then blonde hair and just big fucking bright eyes, and they're just like, tell me a story about a bear, and you're like, oh man, you know, how cute are you? What a shame that you're gonna get older and men are gonna tell you to smile on a bus. The fuck? What a drag. Men should, all men should have kids. Like all men should have daughters. Not all men. That fucking guy from It shouldn't have a daughter. But other people, all men should have daughters. They should have to raise, you know what? You know how when you're in fucking home ec and they gave you an egg to learn whether or not you could be I don't think it was home ec. It might have been some other class. But they gave you an egg and they're like, man, just do us a favor, raise this egg and make it fucking, learn how to raise a family. And you get paired up with some chick in your fucking class and one person took the egg at night and took the other egg at night and you had to make sure that it couldn't break and you had to make sure it was fine. Well, I think instead we should do that with real people. There's enough children in orphanages and homeless kids that I think it would benefit not only coming generations, but also those poor kids who are out on the street to be raised by strangers in some sort of experiment to teach people how to treat women and to teach fucking kids that it's not all lonely and terrible out there. Now, I know what you're thinking to yourself. You can't just thrust these kids in the arms of a 16-year-old and hope that it works out. But, the other parents also kind of chime in, too, like the parents of the 16-year-old. If you're a guy and you're 16 years old, you're playing video games, you look at women as sex objects because you see porn, you just jerk off all the fucking time. You're watching I Spit on Your Anus 8. Because this experiment's going to take at least 3 years to get underway. At least 3. But if you're watching those things, and then all of a sudden they said, hey, man, here's an 8. Well, all right. I just thought of hold on. I just told myself why this is a bad idea. Because I was going to say, hey, everyone, here's an 8-year-old for you to take care of for a month to learn about how to deal with children and also how to respect women. But I had my own problem. It's a 16-year-old who spends all of his time jerking off and playing video games. You give him an 8-year-old, do you think he's going to be a nice guy? Do you think he's going to no, he's going to make that kid play video games and then go hide in another room while he jerks off while he thinks about the video games. Fuck, this is a bad idea. But it was a good idea, sort of, because it was a way to teach young men to respect women by because they would have to raise a little girl for like a month. And so you can't disrespect women going forward at that point because you see what women are like when they're little and they're impressionable and they need to be raised and helped. And once you kind of relate to them on a human level like that, you can't dehumanize them with your sexual antics. I think there's a kernel of an idea in there. I really do. I think there's a way to somehow pair up all of the kids in orphanages with younger people. I'm talking myself into that idea, and it's not a good idea. I know I knew it right when it came out of my mouth, and yet I continued to fucking elaborate on it. But it's better than giving a kid an egg, right? Fuck that. You don't want to give some high school senior an egg to take home and go, hey, yeah, he can take care of a fucking kid. I mean, that's just fucking pathetic. And also, let's be honest with ourselves. Half the kids in high school are knocked the fuck up now anyway. They're all getting banged, and so they're having babies. So I guess they don't really need to get the orphanage outreach program going because they can just go ahead and take care of the real babies that are all squeezing out every fucking day between gym class and fucking algebra. God, do I sound like an old cranky dude? Fuck. I'm like, these kids today with their pregnancies and their nonsense. Why don't you, as I'm doing this podcast, I'm getting older and older. And I don't know if you can hear in the background over the spit mouth that I have fucking lurching into your ear every goddamn fucking 35 seconds. But there are actually orderlies going through and rifling through my things looking for a Navy Cross. They didn't hear the beginning of the show. They don't realize I don't have any of my dad's stuff. Go visit my fucking aunt. She's still alive and writing me on Facebook for fuck's sake, which is terrible. I talked about that, right? My fucking aunt reached out to me, like my dad's sister, and she was fucking terrible when we were growing up, and now she's like, hey, I miss you. And I'm like, fuck you. I don't care. Die in your fucking silence and aloneness. Which seems probably harsh, and I should probably talk to Shannon about that. And also because my brother's like, hey, dude, did our aunt reach out to you? And I said, yes, she did. And he said, well, what are you doing? And I go, nothing. I fucking deleted it. Like, I got nothing to do with it. He's like, oh, man, come on. You should really talk to her. And I go, no, why would I? You talk to her. And he's like, well, man, that's a long time to hold a grudge. I'm like, it's not a fucking grudge. Dude, they enabled our dad to fucking kill himself. Like, they let him drink. They fucking babied the shit out of him. He fucking died. And then they treated us like shit before and after that. So, I mean, I'm not going to go ahead and fucking throw my arms up and go, you know what? Forgive and forget. Now that I realize all the shitty things you did when I was a kid and now I'm older and you're lonely and sad because you realize all the shitty things you did to me when I was a kid, I should fucking just embrace you and hug you and think to yourself, oh my God, I'm sorry, you've suffered personal tragedy, so I should now feel bad for you and definitely embrace you? I think not. Over there! I think not, friends. And perhaps that's me holding on too tightly. Perhaps that's me, and because I should hold on loosely. But I'll tell you this: I should hold on loosely, but I should not let it go, because if you cling too tightly, never mind. All right, so I could lose control. Because look, my aunt needs someone to believe in and a whole lot of space to breathe in. I shouldn't let it slip away. Sentimental fool. I shouldn't let my heart get in the way. Yeah. I see it all around me. Not going to lie to you. Good love and gone bad. What if I did the whole song? I think I have. That's 38 Special. And that brings me back to guns. I was going to talk about guns with you guys, wasn't I? I was talking about that. If I'm the king of the building, I don't need the guns. But I guess you're thinking to yourself, if anybody's got the guns, they're the kings of the building. But they respect me enough that they wouldn't shoot me or cripple my power grab. I think Oscar would be my first lieutenant. I should actually ask the guys this. I should go out, call a meeting of the people here in the building, and which is probably going to be dangerous because there's young people here now, and that's not good. There's like a young girl here who was like really beautiful, and she said hi to me. I was like, no way. How are young people friendly in this day and age? That makes no sense. I'm an old guy. Don't talk to me. But she was lovely, and she was like, hello. And I said, hey, how you doing? And I got her name, and she was friendly and nice, and she was going off to the gym, and I was coming home from the gym. So we had a small kernel of something in common, except for the fact that she's about 30 years away from dying, 30 years more away from dying than I am. She's going to the gym to maintain her youthful figure and make her life better. I'm going to the gym to regret and remember all of the terrible things I've done in my body. And she sees me as the ghost of fucking Christmas gym future. That's who I was. I'm the motivator. I'm the guy. She sees me in a fucking sweaty shirt and my hair all fucked up, and I'm come limping in because I was a leg day and I'm leg pressing fucking 600 pounds. And she's like, Jesus Christ, I don't want to be that fucking guy. I better go to the gym and get spry. Because when you're young and in shape. I was just reading about Chris Jericho's a fucking pro wrestler. The guy's a badass. And he's like 46. And they're like, how do you stay in shape? He goes, man, I don't go to the gym 5 days a week anymore. He goes, I don't even go to the gym anymore. He goes, I'll ride the bike. He goes, I ride a bike or I go out running, maybe. He goes, because I'm in shape. And the thing is, if I get a little too heavy, then I'll cut. He goes, if I'm a little too cut up, then I'll eat. He goes, I don't worry about it. I'm in shape, and just don't eat shitty food and just be fucking good to yourself. And I'm in my head, I'm listening. I'm like, that's fucking great. If you're at the starting point of a Chris Jericho. Because, he spent 46 years keeping himself in good shape. So, of course, now he can just fucking maintain it. Now he's on cruise control. I can't go on cruise control. Because if I go on cruise control, again, you know what happens? The fucking quadruple F, and I go tumbling down a goddamn hill, rolling like a fucking boulder, and then I'm the one who's crushing Indiana Jones and a bunch of natives. And not only do I not get on the seaplane, I fucking crush Aykroyd, and nobody gets to fly us out. Because I fall on my fat fucking face and roll right down fucking hill because of all the fucking mistakes I've made in the past. And in the future, let's not kid ourselves. I've got a whole docket of mistakes ahead of me that I'm going to fucking stumble into. I don't want to. I can't fucking get a grip on it. I try to. Every morning I get up and I'm like, you know what, man? This is the day. This is the day. I sing that song. This is the day. I don't know what the fuck that is. The Pixies? I don't know. But I think to myself, this is the day, man. This is the day you'll start cooking and you'll get a handle on yourself and your life. Because I live alone, man. I don't have anybody to answer to except myself. But that's the problem is I don't give myself enough fucking leeway to tell me what to do. The adult in me, you ever see that commercial where they ate the cereal and a fucking adult turned into a kid? That's me. Except I don't need the fucking cereal. Like, I'm an adult. And I'm not talking about kicks. Because, we know that kids like kicks for what kicks has got, but moms like kids for what kicks is not. Right? Or do kids like kicks for what kicks is not, and moms like kids kicks for what kicks has got? Because that would mean the adults like vitamins and the kids like it because it doesn't have what? No, kids like kicks for what kicks has got. Moms like kicks for what kicks is not sugary garbage cereal, and kids like vitamins. No kids like vitamins. No kids out there, and no kid out there. I always freaked out when they were like, hey man, get your kid to eat vitamins by shaping them like the Flintstones. That's fucking monstrous. That's like, hey, you guys like vitamins? No, we don't. What if it involved killing your heroes? Yeah, okay, why don't I go ahead and chew up a dino? That's what I want to do. And I know you're thinking to yourself, who in the world has the Flintstones as their heroes? And secondly, what kid with the Flintstones as their heroes would make the first choice of Dino as his hero? Whose hero is a pet dinosaur? I don't know. Look, this is not my scenario. Actually, it kind of is. I came up with it. But it was kind of on the fly. I didn't really rethink it. I should probably rethink it. I didn't think it through when I first said it. But yeah, there's no way that this kid is out there fucking thinking to himself, oh man, I love vitamins. Nope. He's not also thinking, I hate vitamins unless they're shaped like people, and then I can pretend I'm murdering the Paleozoic era. Paleozoic? Fuck. Paleozoic. But I guess it's true. If you can tell me that I can somehow get enough iron into my system by eating Barney Rubble, I would try it. I might do that. If you said to myself, hey, you know what, Mike? You need some vitamin A in your system. Here, why don't you bite Wilma? Oh, man, I would totally bite Wilma to get vitamin A in me. Although I've seen her in that dress, I think it's more of an I vitamin B cup. That's right. I just sexually objectified Wilma fucking Flintstone. And how can you not with that pearl necklace? Because the whole time, even when you're a kid, you're thinking to yourself, well, there's something vaguely I'm sexual about that pearl necklace. And then you get older and you find out what a pearl necklace is, and you're like, oh, fucking Fred, just giving Wilma the goo neck, and it just crystallized right there on her neck. That's not even pearls. That's a goddamn Fred Flintstone goo neck that just stayed there, and it's lurking. You got a lurking goo neck. That was actually I think that's what lived under the sink and washed their dishes. They had a Triceratops in one room, and then they had the lurking goo neck. It's a living. Look at me bringing voice work to you guys. God, I should be getting jobs. I should be getting all sorts of voice work jobs. But unfortunately, they don't have a job for a guy with excessive spit in his mouth. Because you know what? Actually, they do. They had a call for that. They had an audition. Guy with excessive spit in his mouth. I show up. Who's there? Dwayne fucking Shinsius. And if you didn't say it before me, I'm disappointed in all of you, for fuck's sake. I'm sure you actually heard the light go on when I said it, when I was like, oh yeah, no, there was an audition for a guy with too much spit in his mouth, and then everybody's like, Shinsius, 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 which is the most chanting that anybody's done for Dwayne Shinsius since 1987. And we're going to have to Google that again, because I'm not sure if even in 1987 they were chanting his name, but they might have been. They might have been letting people have it. I don't know if you're letting people have it, but you're certainly chanting for Dwayne Shinsius because you want good things to happen. So, folks, I would be the king of my building. That's what we're getting to here. That's the fucking bottom line. And Oscar would be my first lieutenant. He would have all of his guns, and he would be the guy who would do whatever I told. I would be the Negan. I'm the Negan of this building, for fuck's sake. Because, here's the thing that I have. I don't have no, I do have a bat. I do have a baseball bat, but I don't have any barbed wire. You know what else I have, though, dude? You want to hear what? Oh, dude, I should take a photo of this and put it on fucking line. I don't even think I told Mex this, because I keep thinking I'm going to give it to him, and I just haven't. But no, I'll just fucking talk about it here. Why not? I'll just ruin my surprise right here for everybody. So here's what happened. I fucking a few years ago, every year Mex has the Christmas celebration, and he has a Christmas party at his house, and you can buy the dumb gift. And it's anything for $10 and less. The guy who gets the stupidest gift wins, and then he gets his name on a plaque, or he gets his name. There's a plaque that they have, and then you're just the winner. You are a champion. I've never won. I mean, I'm talking 20 years of this fucking party. I've never won. I thought I was going to win one year, because I did. I gave it an amazing gift, and then it was topped. And I had to admit it was topped. There was nothing I could do about it. If you're new, I'll tell you what I gave. All right, so we'll talk about this, because I've talked about this before, and I know other people who are listeners to the show know exactly what was given. But one year, I went ahead, and I had some photos from when we were growing up, and I had a photo of my friend Evil Dennis from the UN of Evil. I had Evil Dennis's dad in his kitchen drinking coffee, and not just drinking coffee. He was standing up, and he was holding the coffee cup toward the camera, like almost like Harvey Keitel in Pulp Fiction, where he goes what the coffee's good. So I had a picture of Mr. B doing that, and he's holding the fucking mug up, and so I took that picture. Because we always had this thing where, like, the funniest thing you could ever do is go as somebody's dad for Halloween. Like, if you just showed up in like regular clothes, everybody's like, who are you? And you'd be like, oh man, I'm the big guy's dad. And you would fucking roll. Like, you'd just start laughing, because you'd be like, holy shit, you look just like him. Holy fuck. To go as your buddy's dad for Halloween is the funniest fucking thing in the world to us, in the UN of Evil, because we are fucking cooped up and we don't deal with real humans. So to us, we have funny things that are funny to us, but nobody else. So I said, fuck, this combines the best of that. It combines because again, the fact that he was drinking coffee in the photo made it that much fucking better. The fact that he's got the coffee and he's holding the mug up, and then I put that on a coffee mug. I put it on a coffee mug. So it's like a coffee mug with Mr. B drinking coffee, like smiling and drinking. Oh, God damn it. I still maintain it's the best thing I've ever thought of in my life. Other than I spit on your Amos 6. And then the elves in the cookie war with fucking famous Amos. So I bring that, and I'm so excited, and then it gets opened, and everybody's like crazy. They're like fucking Cosby kids. They're doing a fucking somersault, and Mex brings out a guitar. He does a Rudy, and he fucking it's so great. Everybody's like, this is fantastic. And I'm like, I'm finally going to win. I'm going to get my fucking name on the plaque. It's going to be fucking amazing, because they have, literally, there is a plaque on Mex's wall with the names and the fucking gift that they gave. Everybody gets on the plaque when they win. And I couldn't wait. I was excited. And then some more people opened some more gifts. And then there was one person, they said, okay, my turn. And they opened their gift. And my buddy Jeff, who is also in the UN of Evil, he is the representative from the Polish Federation. He's the Polish representative in the UN of Evil, one of them, because we got Dave and Jeff are both Polish dudes. The gift Jeff gave was a poster of himself Now, I know you're thinking to yourself, well, that doesn't sound like much, but you would have had to see the poster. It was literally Jeff he had a Kangol on, like a fucking Kangol hat, and he's smiling. He's like shrugging, like with his hands in the air, and it just said Millsy, because because his last name is Mills. I'll just say it because why not? But it was a poster of himself shrugging with the Kangol. It just said Millsy. And I was terrified. I knew it because I knew it immediately in my gut. I'm like, I've lost again. I saw my name fall off the plaque. All of my dreams were dashed because there's no way you're beating the Millsy poster. That's just not going to happen. And while my mug was celebrated, and to this day still celebrated, in fact, I believe it's in Mex's cabinet. I think he still owns the Mr. B mug. While my buddy Evil Dennis has the Millsy poster on the wall in his office. Yes, we are terrible fucking idiots because still we think these are hilarious things. We're 50 years old. All of us are 50, 51, 52, whatever the fuck. And we've got fucking coffee mugs with dads on them and fucking posters of our own friends on the wall. And it's that thing where people see it and they go, who's this on the coffee mug? Oh, it's my buddy Dennis's dad. Well, why is that? And then you got to tell them the whole story and then just look at you like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Exactly. What the fuck is wrong with us? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But it's fantastic. I love it. So a couple years ago, I was down in East LA. I wasn't born there, but I was down there. And I went to Gazados for some tacos, which were delicious. And then we saw some mariachi on the street, and we took a photo with them, and I sent it to Dave. And it was amazing. So then there was a toy store. Like, say, look, it's East LA, man. They get a bunch of fucking junk in the windows, and you see stuff, and you go, maybe I'll take a look in here and see if there's anything worth perusing or grabbing. And I was not thinking about the grab bag. I was not thinking about a goofy gift. I just like looking around in those fucking stores because it's so... Look, I won't lie to you. I like poor. All right? I like poor tourism. Does that make sense? Like when I have to drive people to the ghetto down here, I'll have to drive to Watts or I'll have to drive to Compton in the middle of the night. I fucking love it. Because there's a different feel and a different vibe. I grew up in the suburbs. I grew up in the city. I was in Chicago until I was like 8. But then I moved to the suburbs. I was in Romeoville, Bolingbrook, and it was, usually just a bunch of white dudes in tract homes and shit like that. And then we moved to a different, a duplex or whatever. And it was always the same. It's that suburban feel. There's foliage, and then there's, maybe a convenience store, but then there's a school and a nice supermarket. And it's the suburbs. It's where I fucking grew up. But then I would go visit a friend of my mom's, she was friends with this woman named Karen Bruder. And we'd go visit her, and we'd be in the city, and it'd be brownstones and no lawns, like just that little patch of fucking scrub outside. And dogs in the street for no reason, like no owners, no tags, just walking around, just rampaging wild dogs. And even the kids were different because they were raised in a multicultural school. And look, when I like I said, my friends are the UN of Evil, but we weren't city UN of Evil. I mean, they were dudes. I know a couple of Polish dudes, some Italian dudes, Japanese dude. I got my own Mex is a Mexican dude, fucking all these dudes. But we were suburban kids. I'm sure Mex will argue with that because he was in the city longer than us, I think. But whether my mom was a city fucking woman hanging out with fucking criminals or Mex's dad carried a gun, but we still grew up in the suburbs. So it was always a different vibe for me to go to the city when I would go so one time we went to this video, I'll never forget it. We went to fucking Karen Bruder's house. We're in their brownstone and she had 3 kids. She had Candy, Sherry, and Marty. And it was these 2 girls and a guy. And then they had friends come over and we were watching videos. And that was the first place I ever saw black people videos. Because when we saw MTV, now look, I knew black people. My mom listened to fucking music that was like that, but I never on TV, we watched MTV and it was all kind of scrubbed when I was a fucking freshman or a sophomore. So I was a sophomore because it premiered in 81. But then we go to their house and you'd watch the video channel on, on channel 44. They would run this like fucking 2-hour video block. And that's where I'd see Midnight Star. Or fucking, Climax or Prince or Michael Jackson or these people that I had never seen really. It was just before Michael Jackson's Billie Jean had hit MTV. It was being shown on these other shows. And then, that's the first place I ever saw the Time Warp. I talked about that on here where I saw they had the actual clip from the movie of the Time Warp from Rocky Horror. And I'm like, even as a kid, I'm seeing that. I have to see that like now. But it was a different vibe in the city. Like you'd walk to the corner and it was this incredibly busy street, and you couldn't cross the street because you had to go down to a crosswalk. The city is different than the suburbs. So now, when I go down to those places, it's very much like like poor tourism. I go and I'm in the city. I'm down. I drop somebody off in Watts or in Compton. Every house has bars on the window or bars on the doors. There are these like fucking chicken houses that are open at 2:00 in the morning. On every corner, there's these fucking people with a canopy selling either death dogs or tacos or sometimes chicken. And even better is this thing where this is a city phenomenon. You if you're in the suburbs, this doesn't happen, but you go in the city and you're down there, it's like 3 a.m. and there's people out in their yard drinking or talking or hanging out, or people on the corner just fucking standing there. And I've seen hookers down there and they'll wave at you, and I've seen all sorts of fucking questionable behavior and things like that. You'll see, you'll come driving up and somebody sees your headlights and runs and like dives into a yard, and I'm like, well, that's probably bad. I'm not going to slow down. I'm going to keep going here because I don't know what the fuck that guy was doing. But in reality, he could have just been playing Mafia like I used to do when I was growing up. I told you about that fucking game. Whenever I would walk home from anywhere, when I'd walk home to my house, from Mike Scott's house or from fucking Greg Simon's house, I would have to walk and I'd call it Mafia. I could not be seen by anybody in a car. So if I saw headlights, I would fucking run and I would dive. I would pretend that they were mafia killers trying to kill me, and I would hide in trees, behind trees, fucking in bushes, and I would or turn the corner around a house. I'd jump into a yard like I was safe. There was always like because like the car was lava and I had to get the fuck away from it. So maybe that's what these guys are doing in Watts and Compton. I'm gonna guess that's probably not the case. I'm gonna guess maybe they're up to some sort of nefarious activities and they don't want me to be seeing them, or they think that I might be a cop, so they go ahead and they book and they run, which doesn't make any sense because I'll tell you what, I'm not a cop. I'm in a Camry and I saw you fucking run and dive into a yard. If you've got me suspicious, what do you think Johnny Law is going to think when he fucking pulls up and sees you booking and hopping a fence? That's not going to be fucking pretty for anybody, doughboy. So, but that happens. I mean, I'm downtown, and not downtown, because downtown LA has a different kind of city vibe. That has the New York, Times Square-y boroughs type of thing. But what I'm talking about when you go to a poor area. So the same thing happens in East LA. Like, you'll walk down and there'll just be a store with like 80 piñatas outside, and they're trying to get you inside, and they'll sell you, they literally have like medicine that's open on the counter that like you wonder if it's that thing where people come in and trade things and barter could work. I mean, it probably couldn't work for me, big fat white guy who comes in and goes, hey, I'll trade you for this bottle of Lanacane for something. Do they need Lanacane in the poor neighborhoods? I'm not sure if they do. Sure, people get burned. People have bad skin everywhere, so maybe that works. Is that what Lanacane is for? Or is Lanacane a movie star? Who am I thinking of? So I go into this shop and it had a bunch of fucking, like literally it had, again, just garbage in the window. Just like a old Monopoly game with the fucking box faded from the sun because it's been in the fucking window for 17 years. And because I can't, who in East LA is buying Monopoly? How is that fucking happening ever? The only way you buy Monopoly is if somehow some guy hit a bag of fucking heroin in it, right? And your dealer told you to go pick it up. Nobody's buying Monopoly. Because they're, you know why? Because I get out there, they're all outside at 4 a.m. Nobody's inside buying Park Place in the fucking East LI. In East LI, nobody's doing that either. But if, nobody's in their fucking house cooped up, putting hotels on fucking, on Boardwalk. All right, so I go in this fucking joint and I'm looking around and it's got, Mexican deodorant and just fucking, and then it's got real products too, but like with expiration dates you wouldn't believe, like bubble tea from Canada that I haven't seen since I was on the road in 93. I mean, just fucking nightmarish stuff. But I love that. I love seeing cans of Chef Boyardee ravioli in Spanish. I mean, I think that shit is fucking hysterical. It's just this whole other world that you need to expose yourself to. You can't just fucking hole up in your apartment all day like I do. You got to go down to fucking East LA and go on and look at fucking Chef Boyardee. Or Senor Boyardee. That's who he is. Fuck Chef. He's not a chef. He's Senor Boyardee. Aye. And you walk around, and like I said, there's just, cloth diapers on the shelf, just things you wouldn't normally see in a store. It just looks like, you know what it looks like? Someone's fucking garage sale, just with shelves. You know what I mean? Like somebody rented a storefront and then they just decided to sell all their garbage. That's what a lot of those stores are like. Hollywood used to be like that. You go to these fucking shops and they'd have fucking t-shirts and nonsense and just fucking, I'm with stupid and Hillary's a bitch. I mean, they still do that in Venice too. If you go to the Venice boardwalk, between guys juggling fire and guys using rollerblade gymnastics, you go over and look at these fucking shops and they're all like, they all have those Thing 1 and Thing 2 t-shirts, but they'll say like Thong 1 and Thong 2 and a thong on the back. And just stuff that you're like, who would buy this? Here, I will tell you this. This is totally true. I'll go to Venice. You'll see shirts and you're like, oh man, this shit is garbage. Like, who the fuck would buy a t-shirt with like Trump punching Hillary with a giant boxing glove and then, her head spun around to the back of it? Just terrible fucking designs. And then you go to East LA, there are people in the streets wearing those shirts. And I don't even think it's a case of they were like, ha, Trump, or anything like that. They're just like, yeah, I need a shirt. Well, what the fuck? Well, this place is open. You know what I mean? Like, there's this certain, it's like an underground t-shirt railroad that only services poor people and people that are dumb, and then they all wear the same fucking clothes. And look, I don't mean that people in East LA are dumb. I'm saying that there are some dumb people who wear these shirts, and then there are poor people who wind up wearing these shirts because, again, they're fucking cheap. It's fucking 5 shirts for $5. So a lot of people don't have the luxury of going, well, I think I'll go down to fucking, I literally can't think of the name of the fucking store. What's the one with 2 A's? Apparel, American Apparel. Fuck. Couldn't even think of it. But nobody can just go to fucking, I can't even think of another store. Chess King. Holy shit, that's what came to mind. I'm the oldest man alive. Jesus fucking Christ. Hot Topic. That's what the fuck I'm trying to say. Like, some people can't go there and pick out whatever garbage concert shirt, and who knows if they even like Avenged Sevenfold. Maybe they like the fucking Thong 1 and Thong 2 rather than Avenged Sevenfold shirts. But some people don't have the luxury of being able to pay a lot of money for clothing is my point. So if it's 5 shirts for $5, because believe me, I was a kid who was poor. The fucking poor people would bring over pants, and I'd have to wear fucking plaid pants and whatever fucking fit. Little fat kid, they'd bring over the plaid pants, and they were the only things that fit. I'd have to fucking wear them. There was nothing I could do about it. So poor people really don't have a whole lot of choices. It's not like they can be picky. Like, some poor kid's like, hey, man, sorry, man, I don't like the plaid pants. They're like, all right, well, then everybody's going to see your dick. And he's like, all right, well, plaid pants don't sound so bad, actually. And the same thing with the shirts. He's like, hey, man, Thong 1 and Thong 2, that's fucking outrageous. And he goes, well, then you want everybody to see your nipples? And you want to shiver in the cold? Well, no, it's okay. Thong 2 I can handle. Thong 1, not so good. So these poor people are walking around, and then they open stores. And then they think to themselves, hey, our store should you feel like the one in Venice where we got 5 shirts for $5. So I go in and I'm looking around, and I get to a back shelf. Not even kidding. I went all the way to the back because look, I'll be honest with you. I'm looking for a gremlin. That's what I'm doing at that fucking store. I walk in. Certainly it's not an old Chinese man. It's an old Mexican man, but it doesn't matter. He might have a gremlin. He'll just have an accent mark over the E. Gremlin. And I go ahead and pick that up and bring it to my house and then feed it after midnight and get it wet. And then I'm definitely the fucking king of the building. I'll tell you that. Nobody fucking steps to me. I don't give a fuck how many guns you got, Oscar. If I get a whole fucking room full of gremlins, you're not going to fucking take me on. I will fucking have Stripe and Gizmo and everybody just fucking jump all over you and forget it. And they'll put you in that fucking slidey chair. You know what? This is what I'll do. I'll have my gremlins build the chair that they fucking put Polly Holiday in and shot her up to the top of the staircase. I'll have them build it, and then I will unleash them on Oscar. I have them build it just so I can put them in the chair and shoot them into the fucking moon. Although I don't think Oscar's going to run a coup on me. Actually, the two of us, I tell him, I introduce him to the Gremlins. And I tell him, look, this is Gizmo, this is Stripe, this is the other one. And Mowgli? No, that's all fucking Jungle Book, right? Mowgli! Isn't that a fucking gremlin? Gremlin? I don't know what they say. So I tell Oscar about them, and then sure enough, we get the whole building in line because we've got an army of fucking gremlins at our fucking disposal. They'll take them out. We'll have to keep them separated, of course. Unless you want to take them out. We've got to keep them separated. Hey! So I go to this building. That's what I'm looking for in this fucking shop. I'm walking around. I'm looking for a gremlin. I'm hoping to find one to take it home. I get to the back shelf, folks, and I see it, and I can't believe it's true, and I can't believe it's real. It is cheese upon cheese upon cheese. Like, there's just no way you could find a cheesier thing. And then the fact that it's endorsed in such a cheesy fashion, I saw it because, again, there's no way. I don't know how it happened. I don't know who signed this contract. I don't know how bad the management company was to go, yeah, let's go ahead and throw his likeness on that. That sounds like a good plan. Because these were out of style back when I was a kid, but for some reason they exist. Some reason it's still there. On the shelf, giant box, is a keytar. Now, folks, if you don't know what a keytar is, let me explain. That's 2 instruments slammed into one. That's your keyboard, that's your guitar, combined into one unholy strap over your shoulders instrument. That's right. It's a keyboard that you wear over your shoulders like a guitar, and you play it as such. But it has keys instead of strings. It's a keytar. Ladies and gentlemen, I know it sounds Indian, but it's not. It is more just douchebag. It is of no race of people. It is from a class of people, and that class would, of course, be the 80s douchebag. The pushed-up blazer sleeves, the skinny piano keys tie, and the keytar. I was disappointed it didn't come with the whole costume, but the keytar was enough. It was like the Holy Grail on the wall. But here, you would think the keytar would be enough. You would think that would be the Holy Grail. A keytar for sale in East LA? However, the fact that it was in a box and it was endorsed by a certain artist put it over the top. Because I know you're thinking to yourself, who would endorse a keytar? A Geddy Lee, because he was a keyboard maven. A Billy Joel, certainly known for his piano. An Elton John. You think of now a Shawn Mendes. I mean, someone from today who plays piano and can get it done, like a Harry Styles. No, you're close though, folks. This guitar was endorsed by famed guitar player and notoriously excellent musician Justin Bieber. Holy God. Cheese upon cheese upon cheese. You could not ask for a more perfect unholy union. It's fantastic. It's right there. It's for me. It has to be had. And then, as if it were sent from the heavens itself, as if God himself sent down a lightning bolt and put it on the shelf, as if Justin Bieber wasn't enough, a guitar was not enough, their unholy matrimony forming this in a giant box, if that was not enough, literally in a box shaped like a coffin, fitting because it holds the death of music itself, a guitar endorsed by Justin Bieber, if that were not enough, folks, right there on the box was the price tag. $9.99. The thought, the embarrassing thought, the bitter taste of defeat that I have in my mouth still from the Millsy poster would be finally erased by the Justin Bieber guitar. And the best part of it is Mex always bitches every year because people leave the gifts at his house. People will open a gift and they're like, oh, this is stupid, a cactus. And then they'll leave, and they leave the cactus on his fucking shelf. And he's like, why the fuck do I have a cactus in my house? Literally, people are like, this is totally true. Our year, I think it was our friend Chris, one year, he brings in this giant fucking thing. Nobody knows what it is. Somebody picks it and they unwrap it. It's a bale of hay. A real regulation size, life size bale of hay. I think he won. I think his name's on the plaque. But someone unwraps it, they're like, holy fuck. And again, we all laugh our balls off. Oh my God, a bale of hay. And then everybody goes home and Mex is like, I got a bale of fucking hay in my kitchen. What the fuck, man? This makes no sense. But the beauty of my gift, my under $10, my $9.99 Justin Bieber guitar sent from heaven, was that this would be a gift that Mex probably would not mind I left at his house, because he would find some stupid way to use it to make music for this fucking show. It was gorgeous. I was like, it couldn't be topped, because not only is it a stupid gift with cheese upon cheese upon cheese, but it's also a functional gift that he would then use to make songs. I scooped it up off the shelf with light speed and ran to the front, just hoping, because I didn't want them to change the price on me. I didn't want it to I didn't want to know it was on layaway for anybody. I forgot all about the Gremlin. I'm like, fuck this. I'm taking this. This is a gold mine. This is the win. This is a victory. And I'll tell you what, this will tell you how this fucking contest means so much to all of us. I think I bought this in fucking May. I mean, the Christmas party wasn't until December. I bought it in May. I brought it to the counter, and the guy's like, I go, all right, here you go. And he looks at the price tag, and he's like, oh, yeah, he brings it up. There's no questions at all. There's no, oh, no, this is incorrectly marked. Because you always expect that at some shady fucking joint where the guy's going to go, because he sees me, like literally beads of sweat on my forehead. I'm clutching it to my chest like nobody else is getting the Justin Bieber guitar. So he could have fucking played me. He could have been like, no, senor. I don't know why Baba Louie from the fucking Quick Draw McGraw cartoon is there working at the store. But he could have been like, no, sir, I'm very sorry. The price tag is wrong. Or it could have been, $9.99. Well, no, not in pesos. It could have been 999 pesos. It could have been 99 pesos. And I'll tell you what, I got 99 pesos, but a fucking guitar ain't one. A guitar won't buy one. Or a won't buy one guitar. So I fucking, I brought it up there, and he could have gamed me. He totally could have, but instead he rung it up $10. It was $9.99. And no tax. Because again, like those fucking stores are legal. Absolutely. It's like a fucking garage sale. Like I said, it's a garage sale with a roof. That's all that fucking joint was. You walk into those places and you're like, oh, look, dirty diapers. Well, I'll go ahead and grab those. That's fantastic. What's this? A half bottle of drunk Mountain Dew? Yeah, okay. Or they'll like Mountain Dew with that fucking nickname, that like some other story, like Power Wash or whatever the fuck. Like Cloud Kalash, like in the fucking Simpsons when he sees the fucking, no Mountain Dew, only Cloud Kalash. Or only crab juice. That's what they had, fucking Cloud Kalash and crab juice. Give me a crab juice. So sure, I fucking scooped it up and I bought it and I walked out. I was so proud. I was so happy. And I knew I had my gift. It's May. I got that fucking thing in May. Now you're thinking to yourself, well, May was just a couple of months ago, so now you've blown the surprise for your gift. You would think, I should probably mention that I bought that in May of 2014. And you're thinking to yourselves, well, why have you not used it for the gift at this? I know you're thinking, Mike, are you now? Was it too good to give away? Was that what it was? Is it too good? Did you learn the guitar? Are you a person who has now sat down and learned the guitar and become what if I was? What if this whole thing was a lead up to me just busted out a fucking Bieber guitar solo? Holy fuck it, I just cleaned your clock. That'd be genius. It's time to fix your clock. Vanity 6 is so sweet. And now you can all take a bite of my purple rock. But fucking bucked out the guitar and just fucking played it. No, here's the honest truth. I wound up going to the Christmas party that year, and I was going to bring the Justin Bieber guitar with me, except for the fact that it's a giant box. Did you just fucking hear that? What the fuck was that? Is the fucking zombie apocalypse starting now? You know what? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I sit here, I talk about it, I predict it's going to fucking happen. I want to have a lieutenant and Oscar with his guns and me with a fucking Negan baseball bat and a guitar I'm going to smash dudes in the head with. And sure enough, it happens while I'm here on the fucking mic. You heard that, right? I'm not crazy. And I got earbuds in and a microphone rolling, but I'm in a semi-quiet house, except for the fucking spit flying around in my goddamn mouth. But that wasn't me. That didn't come out of me. I got a warning. There was no Manitou. Nothing burst out of my chest. There was nothing that came from the depths of my lungs or anything like that. You heard that, right? Is it going to happen again? Again, listen. I mean, what? That wasn't a neighbor because it seemed, boy, that was fucking strange. Because now it's stopped. That's the weird thing. It stopped. You would think that someone is going to rap on my door and call for help or at least some sort of assistance. Because that wasn't a sex moan. I don't think that sounded like that was a guttural moan. That's an old man getting out of a chair, or perhaps a ghost haunting everybody in my ghostly building. Perhaps my duck has come back. The ghost of my duck. I don't know. Perhaps somebody in the building just went, enough with the fucking guitar story. Because I can believe that. I think I've talked about this fucking thing for a half an hour now. I have no fucking clue. Literally, me buying a guitar and putting it in my house and not being able to get it to fucking Chicago. Because I could not get it to Chicago, folks. Oh my God, I wanted to get it to Chicago. I kept thinking and wanting and hoping and thinking of a way to do it. I mean, it's been fucking 3 years. But it's so huge. It's gigantic. It's like a giant fucking, it's literally like a douchebag surfboard. Like if I carried a Justin Bieber guitar through the fucking airport, it would be partly funny, but it would also be just like, what are you doing, idiot? Because I have to check it. Or I'd have to check my own bags because it's with carry-on. I carry my laptop, I carry my own fucking bag, and then Bieber guitar? You can't check that. Because there's no way the TSA lets that go through if I come through the fucking conveyor belt. They take that aside. They got to think it's the only one in existence. It's going to be some sort of weapon of some sort. They think I can come out and blow up the fucking plane with it. Or if I check the damn thing and I have to go through, the guys who do the baggage are going to steal it. They're going to wail on it and play with it. I know I would if I was down there in the fucking depths of hell. And if I wasn't stealing jewelry, I'd be playing a Bieber guitar. I'd bust it out of the box and just fucking rail on it. So I can't leave it. I can't expose it to the elements like that. So you know what I do, folks? I leave it in my house. That's where it's been. It's been sitting in here and literally in the same spot for 3 fucking years. It leans up. It's behind me near my desk, and it leans up against the bookcase. And it's here's my favorite part of the whole thing. It's been there forever, right? So when I have the woman come and clean my house, when Daisy comes to clean my house with her partner who speaks no English whatsoever, she always moves the guitar and vacuums where it is. And so she never questions it, never says anything, never wonders why it's there. Perhaps she wonders why it's there, but she doesn't say anything to me because, I'm Mr. Mike. I'm the guy who pays. So she wants to get her tip, so she's not going to go, hey, idiot, what's the Bieber guitar for 3 years in the same spot? But my favorite part is when she moves it to vacuum, I always look, and the strip of rug that the Bieber guitar rests on is pristine. It is so incredibly clean and gorgeous. I mean, it's Snow White. It's as Snow White as Bieber's virginity when he took the photo for the box. I mean, because he is like 12 on the cover of the fucking box. And I love the fact that I've just got, because my rug is fucking beat the shit out of it for 20 years, but for some reason that one spot will always be clean. Bieber clean, I call it. That's what I call it now. Bieber clean. Whenever I take a shower, I'm Bieber clean, as long as I'm spotless and shiny. And when Daisy scrubs me up in the shower, because that's... Like I said, I tip, all right? If I tip money, they got to go ahead and scrub-a-dub me, right? Get in there with both fucking hands. Save me from having to wear a pine tree, for fuck's sake. Get in there and get it cleaned up. Take care of business. Earn your tip. For God's sakes, that's why you're in this country. That's a terrible thing to say. I love my cleaning people. They're fantastic. I love all of my people. I've got cleaning people. I've got waxing people. I've got everybody on call. You know that. It's how my life works. But let's bring it home, folks. Let's tie it all in a nice bow. And let's tell you right now, if there's one message you can take from tonight's show, if there's one thing, today's show, this week's show, this year's show, it's evergreen. It's not tonight. You're not just listening it tonight. But if you're listening at night, go ahead and take that. But I mean, this fucking show, this particular week, episode 14, year 10, take this and run with it. I'm a fucking catch. That's right. Fuck you handling an egg for 3 weeks or a semester or however the fuck long they got you doing that at home ec or whatever fucking class it was. I handled the Bieber Keytar for 3 fucking years, and not only is it in perfect shape, but it has kept a strip of rug just as perfect underneath it. I'm the kind of guy you want to take care of a kid or a dog or a baby or something. I don't know. Look me up. And all you Jewish ladies, I don't know, invite me to your Seder. If anybody out there is looking for a guy to fucking come over and entertain with a keytar, I'm the guy. If you want to go ahead and just, I'll bring a fucking keytar for Elijah. Does he want one? We're saving him a chair. Why don't we save him a Bieber keytar as well? Call me up, ladies. I'll Lashana your fucking Tova to the tune of my keytar. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40year-old-boy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/the40year-old-boy. You can follow me on Instagram and Snapchat. Those are places. You can send me things on there. Send me photos. Send me stuff like when you're like our friend Alex, who sends me things where he's like eating weird Swedish food. I enjoy that. Everybody's cool. Our friend Ashley's buying a house. Look, everybody's fantastic. So please, by all means, send me stuff on Instagram and Snapchat, and let me know. Our friend Chuck just wrote me on Instagram. He wrote me a note. I'll talk about that on the other side, maybe, or I might talk about it next week. I don't know. I was going to talk about it today, and I got fucking off the rails. But yeah, man, I'm Instagram and Snapchat. I'm Mike40YOB. So that's Facebook.com/the40year-old-boy, Twitter.com/the40year-old-boy, Instagram and Snapchat. I'm Mike40YOB. Why, you ask? Well, because I know nothing about branding. I like to give you different things to memorize because I'm fucking smart. I'm a real genius. David Hernandez does all the music and the artwork for this show. He's the best and the coolest and the mostest and the funniest and the coolest Mexican dude in the world, other than Danny Trejo. Danny Trejo owns a fucking, he not only has a taco joint out here, he's got a donut place out here. I don't know, his face doesn't scream donuts to me. It's not like I'm thinking to myself, man, unless you think, hey, man, that dude looks like a cruller, because he kind of looks like a cruller when you think about it. But he's a fucking empire. The guy's making big dough, and Mex is on his way. Dave Hernandez, you can find him at Facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez and get him on your on the blower. Have him be your pal, your friend. See all the stuff that he posts on Facebook. And also, you can find him at artbydmh.com. That's ARTBYDMH.com. He is doing all the artwork there. He's got Guy Cons. He's got Val Scapes. He's got personalized pieces. If you guys want something, if you're like, hey, dude, do me paint my elbow, he can fucking do it. If you want him to paint your hair, he'll do it. Whatever you need him to do. I don't know why he'd be doing these still lives with body parts, but what the fuck? He doesn't care. $1's a buck. So get him at artbydmh.com and get him on the case with any of the previous paintings he's already done, or have him do something that would be commissioned for you, something personalized, because he's willing to do that, because he's fucking fantastic. And I'll tell you more about that on the other side. Remember that Ryan Dirks does all the web stuff for this show. He is at Facebook.com/Ryan Dirks. He's going to be getting a call from me very soon, as I've told you all many, many weeks in a row. But he will, as soon as I talk to Dave, and see what's up. And please remember that Superfan Gio, not super fan of me, super fan of others, certainly. He's got all sorts of stuff going on. You can find him at Facebook.com/Giovanni Giorgio Peluso and be his friend. I don't know if he might be over 5,000. He's a popular dude. But please remember, he built the YouTube channel for us, which is available if you go to YouTube and look up the 40-Year-Old Boy channel. Why not subscribe to that, man? Make it look like I'm a hitter. Give me some subscribers. Go listen to old shows and new alike. I was just listening to an older show on there this week, and I was laughing my balls off because I'm fucking hysterical. You know what I listened to? I'll tell you this. I listened to the show where I switched from, it was year 2, I think it's episode 3, year 2, where I wound up in a new place to record, and I was not happy. And like the first 25 minutes is just me venting about how fucking angry I am about having to record in this new joint. It was actually really funny, so go check that out. Check out all the stuff on the YouTube channel, listen to the shows, because courtesy of Giovanni Giorgio Peluso, that YouTube channel exists. Also, remember, he's got his own podcasts, man. He's got Pod Gods, he does all the Loveline stuff, so please become Gio's friend and tell him you're happy that he does all this cool stuff for our show. And also, why not contact him to do stuff for your show? No, don't do that. He's very busy. The man's almost dead. He's got a dog who's biting people. He's got smoke in his lungs. He's ready to fucking pass out. He's got hands that are decrepit from jerking off all day and working on a keyboard. The man is in pain. So please, leave him alone. But also tell him you like him. So I guess it's sort of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. And also, remember this, folks. I am on Anchor.fm. And that's an experiment. I don't know how much longer it's going to last, so download the app to your phone right now so you can hear any and all Anchor clips that I've done. We were just in the middle of the Danny Nagy saga. I haven't posted the third one yet. I'm leaving people in suspense, but that'll be going up today, and you'll be able to hear that. And I'll also do a bonus clip. There'll be 2 clips today on Thursday, and you'll hear me on Anchor. So what you do is go to iTunes and download the Anchor app to your phone, and then look for the 40-Year-Old Boy channel. It's right. You can't miss it. You're going to search me, and you're going to find it. You're going to see the familiar Horn Boy logo, and then you're going to listen to all of my past shows. I got some of them marked as episodes. There'll be individual stuff tomorrow, and then I'll also go ahead and group. I think I mentioned I threatened this last week, and I didn't do it, but I will do it. I'll put all the other episodes like in a folder, and you can listen to all of them if you want. If you want to hear everything I've done on Anchor, it will be available. If you don't, and you just want to hear the ones that come out day by day, like everybody else in Godspell, then you should do that. Go ahead and get the Anchor app. Bottom line, get the Anchor app to your phone and listen to the stuff that I do, and there's other shows on there too that you might want to listen to. I've heard that there's technology shows and other fun shows. Some of the listeners to this show have set up shows for themselves. So get the Anchor app, download it to your phone, find the 40-Year-Old Boy channel, and after you listen to all of my stuff, go and explore and find the other cool stuff available there on the channel. And also, please remember, you can get it on your laptop if you want. And here, I don't know how many they keep queued up, or I don't know how they line it up, but you can find them there. That's at Anchor.fm, Mike 40YOB if you want to listen on your laptop because you're an old man like me. And look, I've got it on my phone, but listening to my phone is always a fucking hassle because I got fat thumbs and I wind up listening to the wrong goddamn show. But still, if you want to use your laptop, go to Anchor.fm Mike 40YOB. That's Anchor.fm Mike 40YOB. Ladies and gentlemen, the Sands Casino is proud to present Bobby Vodka and Zellman.
Oh, hey, how long I been on? Hey, Zellman.
Hey, Bobby. Hi, everybody.
How'd all these people get in our hotel room?
Oh, Bobby, you been in the Anisette? You're on stage.
I know, I love the Tropicana.
Oh, Bobby, too bad you're at the Sands.
I know we're at the Sands, I'm just kidding. It's a good job anyway, though, right, Zellman?
Oh, it's the best job I ever had, Bobby, and I had a lot of jobs.
You did?
Yeah, my first job ever, I worked at my grandfather's bagel factory.
What'd you do there?
I was in charge of putting holes in the bagels.
How'd that go?
6 weeks later, I found out they had a machine for that. No, fuck!
Oh, no.
Yeah, and then after that, I worked for some of your people.
We gonna try that again, Zellman?
I think we're gonna have to. Hold on there, Bobby. You know, after that, I got a job with some of your people.
My people? Who?
Yeah, I worked as an Italian tailor.
Doing what?
Well, I had my own department. I was in charge of cement shoelaces and piano wire ties. Wop, wop.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and then, but this is still my favorite job because the job I had before this, I got fired.
Fired for what?
Well, I worked at my grandfather's phlegm farm.
What happened?
I dropped a basket of ding dong.
Oh, no.
Slap my ass and call me Christmas. Somebody get Frank to get the drinks. Take us home, Bobby Vodka.
Come fly with me, let's fly away. Oh, come on, Zellman. Not that kind of fly. You gotta put your fly up.
Want to remind you folks that I will be at the Los Angeles Podcast Festival this year. I think it's the 6th year in a row, 5th year in a row. I don't know. However long they've had a Los Angeles Podcast Festival, I have been involved. I have been on stage, and now I have a showtime and a day, which is fun. But first, let me tell you a little about the Los Angeles Podfest. If you don't know this, go to lapodfest.com. Buy your tickets now. Very important because, they're selling tickets. They got shows. They're lining up a schedule and things like that. And you want to come and see me, but there's also millions of other great shows you'll be seeing. My Favorite Murder will be there with our friend Karen Kilgariff. The Dollop. That's Dave Anthony and his friend Gareth or Garen. No, I think it's Gareth. The Jackie and Laurie Show. I just found out Never Not Funny is going to be there. Holy fuck. They're going to be there on Sunday the 8th. And, of course, Bill Burr is going to be there. Bert Kreischer is going to be there. TJ Miller. All of your favorites, podcasting people. They're all going to be there. And I'm going to be there. Now, look, have you ever wanted to see me live? This is your chance. Have you seen me live and you want to see me again? Have you seen me live and never want to see me again? This is your chance. Ignore what I'm saying. But if you want to see me again, I'll be at the LA Podcast Festival again in October. I'm there. All of those other great shows are there. October 6th, 7th, and 8th at the beautiful and historic Biltmore Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. I hear it's haunted. haunted with the ghost of the guy who fucking moaned in the middle of this podcast. He might be chasing me around. I don't know what that was. That sounded like something out of a fucking Aronofsky movie. Just some dude moaning in the background. Maybe a dude trapped in the wall. The Biltmore is a beautiful hotel. It actually was the home of the Academy Awards way back in the 30s, so you might hear the ghost of Clark Gable breathing halitosis in people's face. Did you know that about Clark Gable? He had terrible breath. Marilyn Monroe, when she filmed The Losers, or whatever the fuck that movie was with him, she couldn't barely stand to be in the same room with Clark Gable because he'd never brushed his teeth. I don't know if that's why he had halitosis, but he had chronic halitosis. But it was because in the old days, back then, all those guys smoked cigars and drank coffee and didn't know what fucking hygiene was. And ladies had to do whatever they were told, so fuck, no guy had to really take care of himself. I got news for you, Errol Flynn stunk to high heaven. Smelled like somebody stuffed a mouse full of cheese and left it under a bed for a month. That's what Errol Flynn smelled like. But didn't matter. Everybody thought he was a swashbuckler, and everybody wanted to do him. Till they got into a fucking room with him, and they realized he smelled like a corpse's asshole. Well, great way to go, Errol Flynn. Way to be all dashing on screen, and then you show up and in smell-o-vision, you ruin everybody's day. Where was I? Oh, I'm at the historic Biltmore Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. So again, the Academy Awards were there in the 1930s, and I think they've made me say this to you because they want you to see how unbelievable the precipitous drop has been as they now have a podcast festival there 80 years later. It's a 100% independent event. You know me, I always talk about Keep It Indie with Mike Schmidt. Well, they're keeping it indie themselves, produced by podcasters for podcast fans. And I'll tell you, go to lapodfest.com, buy your tickets right now. And so, again, have I mentioned go buy your tickets right now? Don't miss us. Tons of other people, and us, by us, I mean me. Go to lapodfest.com. By God, they fucking, on this sheet of paper, they got 9 different ways for me to tell you to go buy tickets. They want you to buy your fucking tickets, folks. But I got the schedule, and, it's the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th. Well, it turns out I'm performing Saturday, the 7th at 4 o'clock. In the I don't know in the fucking Douglas Fairbanks room. I don't fucking know what the Biltmore calls their joints, but I'm sure it's a small room with about 50 seats. But that's fine. That's exactly what I fucking want because that's exactly how many people I'm going to get in there. They're going to sit there and watch me talk. I know our friends the Hansons won't be there. One of them's getting married this year. I don't know. I meet you guys every year. It's my fucking favorite weekend of the year because I get to see all of you guys and hang out and have fun. Now I'll tell you this. I just talked to my friend Heidi, who always comes to town, and Heidi and her friend Mel are always there for the show. And then they see a bunch of other shows and they put together a whole bunch of stuff in Los Angeles. Well, here's the thing. I'll throw this in your lap. The 6th, 7th, and 8th, that's, of course, the podcast festival itself. If you happen to be in town on the 5th, October 5th, that is a Thursday night. We have sushi reservations in the Valley at my place, Katsuya, and we always want any listeners to join us. I made the reservation for 6, but if you're going to come and tell me and I'll expand the reservation, whatever, because right now I only know for sure 4 of us are going. And it's me, Heidi, and Mel, and my friend Randy. So the 4 of us will be at this show. It'll be at the sushi joint. But if you want to come, by all means. Like I said, we had Bill, we've had the Hansons, we've had other people who've joined us. So please join us at Katsuya on October 5th. Let me know so I can add you to the reservation. Or if you want to come and you want to show interest, please come on out. But that would be fun, a sushi thing on the 5th, and then the Podfest on the 6th, 7th, and 8th. And if you're in town, man, and you want to hang out or have lunch or do whatever, because look, I know when you come to town for Podfest, there's a million fucking shows you want to see. Like I just said, Berg, Kreischer, everybody else. I don't know if Doug's there this year, but a million people that you love. But if you find yourself with downtime and you're like, you know what, I'd like to fucking hang out with Schmitty or whatever, let me know. Because, I mean, that weekend is exactly when I do it. I fucking see people, we hang out, we go to lunch, we do the thing. And downtown, there's a bunch of cool places. We can just go fucking walk. I'll tell you this, I ain't got to go fucking eat. I don't have to go sit in a bar. We can sit in the fucking lobby and talk and laugh. We can go to your room and goof around. We can just fucking walk the hallways. We can go watch other shows. I don't fucking care. It's my favorite weekend of the year because I get to meet all you guys up close, in person, shake hands, glad hand, and you get to tell me how fucking great I am. Why the fuck would I turn that down? It's my favorite weekend because 3 days of people going, God, you're fucking hilarious. God, you're fucking hilarious. Now I just need to come up with a show for the 7th that'll make me fucking hilarious and make you want to say that. I'll tell you what, for the 6th and half the 7th, you'll be like, God, you're fucking hilarious. Then my show will happen. We'll see what happens for the rest of the 7th and the 8th. Hopefully Never Not Funny will be able to be out by being funny, and you won't have to think about the fact that I might have tanked on the 7th. I never tank. I fucking kill it at Podfest every year. So come on out to the show, buy the tickets, go to lapodfest.com right now and get your tickets, and have a good time with us at the Los Angeles Podcast Festival. Truth and Lies is the theme. I don't know why it needed a theme. The theme should, I'll tell you what, from the copy they sent me, the theme is buy some fucking tickets. So that's the sub-theme. But check it out, come on out, and be friends with me. Come up and visit me and say hi. Please remember that the documentary Earbuds that I wound up doing is available. Earbuds, the documentary. That's available right now in iTunes and Google Stream and Amazon something, whatever the fuck. I don't know. Google it and you'll find out. But Earbuds, the podcasting documentary done by my friends Graham and Chris, is available now for you to go ahead and peruse and listen to and jam right into your fucking ear holes and blare it right through your skull and watch. It's actually a visual thing. It's not just an audio thing. What if it's just an audio thing you had to listen? No, it's a movie. It's an actual documentary. See my friends go to Australia, see them talk to Sinai from Japan, all of these other things that happen in between, and then see them follow me, like I said, on a job that I had 3 years ago that I no longer have. That's how long it's taken for this thing to hit the fucking shelves. But it's out there. You'll see me. You'll hear me talking about a lot of stuff that probably isn't true anymore, but that's fine. You'll enjoy it because I'm there and then I get into a fight with Graham and there's a segment and I'm really funny and I'm great. So get the Earbuds documentary if you haven't seen it. It's really fun. Rent it, buy it, and bring your copy and I'll sign it. Bring your streaming copy and I'll sign that with an AirPen. Oh, and tell everybody. You'll show it to everyone. Emperor Has No Clothes style. Check out my copy of Earbuds with Mike Schmidt's signature. Ooh, fancy. I'll bring my AirPen just in case. So please get the Earbuds documentary. It's available now everywhere. And look, our friend David Hernandez is the man. I've told you this. He does all the artwork for the show. He does all of the music for this show. But he's also doing a project on Facebook. It's kind of an experiment for him. He's doing caricatures of people if they want to pay him to do such a thing, and they can use them as their caricatures on Facebook. He's drastically cut prices to do this for a limited time because it's more of an experiment than really anything he's looking at as a business. It's a feeling out process. He wants to see how people feel about it, and if there's response, perhaps he'll extend it. But right now, it's a limited time. He's cut the prices. He'll give you a digital scan of a watercolor formatted for use as a profile pic. It's 600 by 600 DPI. I don't know what that means, but it's a square pic. I can tell you that. What you want to do is private message David on Facebook. That's facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez. He'll give you the price. He'd rather you use PayPal to pay him, although I'm sure he would probably tell you that in the private message that you send him when you're going back and forth. And you do have to give him a reference photo and an email address. So he has something to send you and somewhere to send it to, I suppose. Because you can't just say, hey, paint me, because then he'll have to fucking choose what you're doing, and you don't want that. I mean, the last thing you want to do is you're all of a sudden you're like face deep in a camel's ass. That's going to be fucking terrible. So unless you've got a photo of yourself face deep in a camel's ass and that's what you want painted, he'll do it. He's not above that. He's going to get whatever you guys want. If you're paying, he's ready to do it. But I will tell you that costs extra because it's normally just a head and shoulder portrait. Anything more like holding a tennis racket or having your face jammed in a camel's ass, cost goes up. And I can tell you this, David, as you can tell, he does all the fucking brilliant artwork for this goddamn show, and you can see it. Just go to my page if you want. Go to my Mike Schmidt page and go to my photos and look at all of my the cover photos or the profile pictures, and just scroll through and look at the fucking amazing artwork from years and years and years and realize that could be you. Or go to Kevin and Leslie Davis's page and think that could be me as well because he painted them and they look fucking phenomenal. He painted Catherine Sweeby and Matt. He's painted other people from the show. He's painted Thorgar. He's done a million different things and the turnaround time is fucking amazing. So again, like I said, contact David at facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez and negotiate, tell him what you need to do, get him a photo, get him an email address. He can take it from there and get you a caricature Facebook profile. But remember, a limited time, he's drastically cut the prices because it is an experiment to see if anybody's really going to bite on this, and he's done I think a few so far. So please, by all means, contact our friend David and get him involved in doing your Facebook caricature project facial extravaganza thing. That seems like a long name, but that's what I'm calling it. Do you guys want to be an Uber driver? Do you want to be a Lyft driver? Do you want to touch? Do you want to touch? Do you want to touch me there? Where? There? Yeah? Well, then here's the thing. You want to go to Lyft.com and use this code, Mike, 720057. That's all caps, Mike, MIKE, 720057. Use that and become a Lyft driver all over this great land of ours. But if you want to be an Uber driver instead, or in addition to, go to Uber.com and use my code DJZW1YTTUE. That's DJZW1YTTUE, and that's all lowercase. Use that, become a driver, use my reference, and go out there and make some money for both of us, because I am the Uber pimp, I'm the Lyft pimp. That's who I want to be these days, because last week I drove a fuck ton, and look, I'm probably talking you out of the gig right now, but I needed to make a lot of money last week, so I went out and drove a bunch, and didn't quite care for it. I mean, I was driving, and my hands were sore, and my shoulders, but go, you'll respond to it so much better. I guarantee it if you do it. See, because I'm old and decrepit, and I'm beaten down. I have a body that I've already abused, as we talked about earlier. I'm ready to quadruple F this motherfucker. But you guys are young and spry, and you want to make some side cash, right? So go to Uber.com and use DJZW1YTTUE. That's all lowercase. Go to Lyft.com and use MIKE 720057, and that's all caps on the mic. And become a driver and make money for you, make money for me, make money for anyone who you want to be, make money for you and me. And let's do this. Let's talk about money. First of all, I'm giving money to hurricanes at the end of the month. I have not totaled up the exact number. It was a week's worth, and I haven't gone to check, but I know the dates, and Amazon makes it very easy to figure out the dates, and we'll give that money at the end of the month when I'm paid by Amazon. So thank you to everybody using the Amazon link. Oh, have I mentioned that? Oh, I guess I have not. Go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, and we've got the Joe Business page on there. There's all sorts of cool stuff for sale that you can purchase and look for. What do we got there? We've got the downloads of, still the year downloads if you want those. We got the Year Dirt Dirt shirts. Year Dirt Dirt. Those are available. We've still got individual live stuff, Podfest stuff. We've got all of that stuff available for you. And go ahead and buy that. But more importantly than anything else, go ahead and use our Amazon link. Please remember that the Amazon link exists. That means you go ahead and use that, and they get money, we get money, you get stuff. It works out perfectly. Amazon is there for you to go ahead and trip your trigger and go ahead and buy whatever the fuck you want to buy. If you want to buy a Justin Bieber guitar, perhaps you can search it on there. If you want to buy guns, so you and Oscar can be my lieutenants here at the building, go ahead and get that. If you want to buy anything that you can bring over to if you want to bring something for a sleepover, you guys want to crash at my house while you're in town for the Podfest, we'll have a fucking sleepover and watch movies. Boy, I keep pushing that idea like it's a good idea, and I know it's not a good idea, but I still keep bringing it up because I'm a fucking idiot, because I have no friends, and I really want to fucking have like a sleepover, and we'll all watch fucking ghost stories and get Netflix, and that'll be fun, wouldn't it? Just to watch movies? What if we did? What if we all crashed at my house, slept on the floor, and we all used my shower, and then, not together, no, wait, let's go individually. Let's not fucking make this a weird thing. This was fun for a second. It was me and you, and we're all watching The Howling, but now all of a sudden we're all in the shower together. Things broke bad really quick there. My point is, I want to hang out with you guys while you're in town. But if you want to buy something from Amazon that you can bring here, like pillows or pillowcases or some sort of sleeping bag so you can sleep on my floor when you're in town for Podfest, maybe that's the move. And by the way, I don't want a bunch of fucking homeless dudes here. Just if you got to be a presentable person if you're going to stay at my place. Because God knows, I think I just told you that I have such fancy pool furniture that you can go lay on and get a fucking disease. Jesus Christ. I look out there and you can actually see psoriasis waving at you from the years and years of accumulated skin sweat that's on these fucking plastic strips that pass for a Chase Lounge these fucking days. So use the Amazon link, I guess is the bottom line. Go ahead and do that. We get money, they get money, you get stuff. It works out perfectly for everybody. And also remember that we have Jerome. That's right. He's got his mirror and he's got his link, and he's telling us that you are the guys who should be buying stuff, butters and balms and lubes and bombs and all sorts of cool stuff. He is our sponsor, Jerome at getthebutters.com, getthebutters.com. And if you use the code, is it Mike 40YOB? I think so, or 40YOB. Fuck, I don't even remember the code now. It's funny. I totally had it memorized, and now I know I got it. And now I'm gonna have to pull out a million fucking things. Jesus Christ, Jerome's the best. Go to getthebutters.com. Here's this, not this. Look, it's old notes from old shows. Hey, look, it's my ARP application that came in the mail, and I keep thinking to myself, I should send that in, and yet I have not yet. I can't find this. All right, well, fuck it. You know what? Go to Jerome, getthebutters.com, and use my. And you know what? If you remember my code, use Mike40YOB or use 40YOB, and I'll get something from it, I think. But if you don't, just go use something and get a fucking cool thing from Jerome, because he makes butters and balms and bombs and lubes and scrubs and masks and all sorts of cool-ass shit, and loofah gloves that you can stroke off with. They're all there, man. Get some oil for yourself, some lube, anything, and just go ahead and coat up your nether regions and slide all over. Go Nuru somebody, courtesy of Jerome at getthebutters.com, and make sure you tell him I sent you in one way or the other. He's going to get you. He's going to get you one way or another. Maybe next week. He'll meet you. But go to getthebutters.com and get Jerome some money, because that's what we want you to do. Hold on. There's more people outside. I think they're coming in the gate. I don't know if they're moaning. Is this more ghosts or zombies? I can't tell. Can you hear them? Listen. No. All right, maybe you can't. All right, maybe it's just me. Hi. But I see them. I just saw them walk by my window, but they were talking very loudly. I don't care for that kind of behavior. As I shout, as I scream, motherfucker and pussy in my apartment, and everybody can hear it for fucking miles. Great. So again, all that stuff's out there. Please remember to go to the MikeSchmidtComedy.com website, use the Joe Business page, use the Amazon link, and go to the getthebutters.com and use our codes there and buy all that cool stuff. And here's something I haven't promoted in a while, and there's a reason, but I'm going to tell you why I'm promoting it now. Folks, there's a Patreon page that we have, and a lot of you are kind enough to give to it. Some of you have adjusted your donations, and then you always write me a note, which is very nice. We have, someone who has to, I'll just tell you, our friend Frankie, she went ahead and adjusted her donation. Then she wrote me and she's like, hey, I want you to know this has nothing to do with you. And then I wrote her back and I'm like, don't worry about it. But yeah, I did think it was something to do with me. She's like, I knew it. Because I always think what I said or what I did wrong was the one thing that sends somebody fucking scurrying for the hills. But she was very nice to reach out and tell me, hey, don't worry about this. This is not you. And I said, great, that's no problem. But the Patreon page is available. If you go to Patreon and search Mike Schmidt, I believe it's patreon.com/Mike40YOB. You can become a Patreon of this show. You can donate every month. And I know what you're thinking to yourself, well, Mike, we already do that and you don't pay much attention to the Patreon page. And I told you why. My laptop fried out. Not really fried out, but it's been doing weird shit and it will not let me access my Google Chrome won't update. All sorts of sites I can't access, and Patreon is one of them. It will not let me update my Patreon page. It's weird. I can go look at my control panel page that tells me when people donate or don't donate or when they stop donating and gives me messages, but as far as my page for updating, I cannot access it with my laptop. I told you guys about that last week, as I was bitching about my fucking microphone, which is freaking out. And as you can still hear, we're still on the tin can microphone for now. This, I can tell you right now, will be the last show with the tin can microphone because I'm buying a new microphone from Amazon this week. And as a matter of fact, I've ordered it. I thought it would be here by today, but it was not. But it will be here next week. But also, let's talk about this, folks. You guys have always been very generous with me and very cool and very nice and always done your best to go ahead and support the show and stand out and do what you can to make sure that the show is the best it possibly can be and keep me out of my own fucking little head. Like I said, Frankie writes me, she's like, look, dude, I didn't change this because of you. So I go, okay, cool. But we talked about it and everything was fine because I did think that it was a thing. But I've been talking on the show about the microphone, and a lot of you have stepped up. You've written me notes. You're like, hey, man, I'll send you a microphone. Our friend Steven in New York. Other people are like, hey, I can send you this. I can send you that. I thought I had a hookup with my buddy Eric through Shure. But I haven't been able to talk to Eric. He's been traveling and stuff like that. So I wasn't sure. So I'm like, just buy the fucking microphone, man. You know what it is. But I was worried about it working with Audacity, and I didn't know if it was going to come here. Anyway, the bottom line is, I told you, when I'm typing on my laptop, I'll be typing a bunch of stuff, and then it won't appear, and then all of a sudden a blizzard of letters will show up, and everything I type will just appear. So everybody's like, dude, you better back up your fucking computer. Well, I do. I have a terabyte hard drive. Everything's backed up, and it's all square, and I'm not really having huge problems with it, but the Audacity, the microphone, they're not talking to each other very well. And again, like I said, there are sites on the web that I cannot get to. So I got an email last week from a listener, our friend Michael Waldbillig. And he wrote and he said, hey, I've been listening to the show for a long time. I think it's time that I gave back. Now, this is the guy who sent me Temple of the Dog tickets that I couldn't use. And I think I talked about that on the show before. And now Chris Cornell's dead. So I will never get to go. So good for me, right? For avoiding that. Another fucking thing that I avoided and I couldn't get to. And then it turns out I'll never have the fucking chance to do it again. Do not pass up opportunities, folks. If they come to you, anything cool that you can do it. Because you never know if they're going to die or you're going to die. That's the way it should be from now on. Like I said, I'm on the back 25. So whenever an opportunity presents itself now, fuck it. I am there. I'm doing it just in case. You never know who the fuck's going to break up. I told the story. I saw Rod Stewart when I was a kid. When Rod Stewart was touring, he was going to have Jeff Beck in his band. This is when Jeff Beck was making a comeback, and he released the album Ambitious, and I talked about it before where Donny Osmond was singing. And then that night in Chicago, Jeff Beck quit. The Jeff Beck band was supposed to open, and then Jeff Beck was going to play with Rod Stewart. I've never seen Jeff Beck. I've never seen him before or since. I may never have the opportunity. I don't know how long his arthritic fingers and his long nails are going to hold out with his finger picking. I don't know how long Jeff Beck's going to be on the road, if he's even on the road still now. He could be old and just clammed up in a house somewhere with Richie Blackmore talking about wizards. I fucking got no idea. But I had an opportunity to see him, and it didn't happen. So now the same thing. I could have seen Temple of the Dog. I could have seen Chris Cornell on stage with the guys from Pearl Jam. Everything would have been fucking fantastic. I unfortunately could not go. And guess what? Chris Cornell then winds up dying in a shady, weird, conspiracy-driven way in Detroit. And that makes me laugh whenever I read that. Everybody's like, oh my God, it's a conspiracy. I'm like, hey, it was fucking Detroit. Anything that happens in Detroit is fair fucking game. The whole town's a goddamn coin flip. You fucking could show up in a hotel or a supermarket and you wind up with a fucking tie or a belt around your neck. And everybody's like, well, this sounds like natural causes. It's fucking Detroit. But I missed that. So Michael Waldbillig stepped up and he wrote me a note. And he's like, hey, I've been listening a long time. I'd really like the opportunity to get you a laptop or a microphone. Would you be interested in something like that? And I wrote Michael, and of course, what I always say, I said, look, this is incredibly generous of you to offer, but a laptop, I use Mac products, and I don't think you'd be interested in that because it's like a fucking laptop is like $2,500 to $3,000 if you were to go ahead and buy it. And so a microphone, however, is almost like it's like $150 to $200 if you wanted to do something like that. That's fucking cool. And then he wrote me like an hour later, and it just said it had a link, and it was a link to Apple, and it was a link to a laptop. And he goes, does this one work? Or are you picky and do you need to get the 15? Because he's going to get the 13-inch screen. And And I was like, fuck. Well, so then I wrote him back and I said, well, look, I mean, if you want to do this is fantastic. Thank you. I'm not, and this is so fucking me and it's so dumb. I go, I'm not picky. Well, first of all, I should tell you this. In the first note when I wrote him, I said, hey, if you want to get the laptop or the microphone, I go, the laptop is like $2,500 to $3,000. I go, I will tell you this. If you wanted to do something like that, I'd be happy to pay you back. It would just be a way of you fronting the money, and then I would pay you every month for the thing. It'd be like on a term. Almost like he was the credit card, and then I had to pay him off. Because fuck, gifting me a laptop. I'm just like, what the fuck, man? I mean, that's cool and awesome, but at the same time, I don't want to put you in that kind of position or that kind of situation. But thank you for offering. But I said, I will pay for whatever. So then he wrote me with the fucking link, and I said, well, look, I'm not picky, dude. The 13 works great. And then I go, well, actually, here, I'm about to be picky. I said, if you're doing this, I would want the 16 gig memory. Because you always trick out the memory. That's just the way you do it. And I said, and I need the AppleCare. I said, I looked at that, and that's about $500. I can pay that right now. So I would pay that, and then whatever you wanted me to pay toward the laptop, and again, long-ass fucking note. And then he just writes me back, and it's just a bill of sale. And he goes, hey, man, it's on its way. Should be at your house by Saturday. And I'm fucking dumbfounded. A listener, Michael Waldbillig, unbelievably generous, steps up and gets because he wants the show to continue, and he wants to continue in a probably, you know what, it wasn't even about him being kind, it was about him going, man, my fucking ears, Jesus Christ, I can't listen. Regardless, the bottom line is he contributed, he donated a MacBook to the show, and I'm fucking astonished by it, and I'm humbled by it, and I'm honored by it, and anytime you guys step up and do things like that, it's always incredible, and it always makes me happy, and I don't know how to process it. I always say, like I said, everybody goes, just shut up and say thank you. So Michael Waldbillig, I will shut up and I will just say thank you. Then I sent him an email and I'm like, hey dude, I go, this is because it arrived on Friday. And I said, it's here. I said, I'm charging it up. I haven't gotten a chance to dick around with it yet because I had to drive like for fucking 3 days. I said, I'll probably get to look at it on Monday. I said, but believe me, the first email I send out of it will be for you. And he wrote me and he's like, look, he goes, use it any way you got it. He goes, improve your life, book shows, go out, do the road, do the things you need to do. He goes, but I'll tell you what, if you start doing shows where you talk about how you couldn't get to work on your new laptop because you couldn't understand how to transfer anything over, and we're talking like a month later, he goes, then we got to fucking have a talk. He goes, then there might be a problem. And that won't be the case at all. I like I said, I've charged it up. I haven't been able to play with it a lot because I've been driving, trying to get ahead of stuff because I have to take Podfest weekend off in November. I have to take a weekend, or in October, I have to take a weekend off for, you don't give a fuck about my life and the plannings and the money. But I have to drive kind of intensely in September to make up for some days off I'll be having in October. And so, courtesy of listener Michael Waldbillig, next week I'll be on a brand new podcasting suite. I'll get a new microphone. I'll have the laptop rolling, and I plan on booking a lot more shows to go. I keep saying these things, and I know you're probably tired of hearing them, but I do. I will. I am. I don't take lightly the generosity that you people show. I don't take lightly the loyalty, and I will honor that by working as hard as I possibly can. Now, there are things that get in my way here. Like I recorded this on a Wednesday night, and I made Max do the artwork kind of quick, and he was like, he wants the artwork to be done sooner, and it's my own fault. Doing the show alone is a thing. I keep, what it is? I've made it work. When I had a producer, it was fun. I would go and do it, and I could just do the show, and I looked at it as fun. Now, doing it by myself, I've made it into my fucking tiny brain as a chore, as work, and that's not the right way to be. But that changes going forward. That's something I'm working on every week, and I'm adjusting, and I will make it work. And especially now that unbelievably generous people have stepped up. Michael Waldbillig, I cannot thank you enough. And everybody else who even had the notion, who wrote me and offered a microphone and offered to help out, thank you. Alan Miller wanted to help out with technical stuff. Everybody who stepped up and tried to help in some way, just because, and the thing is, everybody's like, hey man, we can hear you fine, everything's great. But you knew in my fucking heart and in my weird head that this was untenable for too long. And now we're 3 weeks in, and you've been nice and kind and careful, and everybody's been really cool, and Gio's been nice, and everybody's done everything they could to help me out. And Michael Waldbillig steps up, sends a laptop, and I'm getting the new microphone. And so next week I will sound a whole lot better, and I'll sound a whole lot happier, and I will also have a larger heart, folks, and I will be wide open to any and all suggestions for you guys and the things that I should do. And I will grovel, and I will beg, and I will thank you again for everything that you've done. Thank you so much for everybody who stepped up, because you care and everybody cares, right? I know that. You know that. And I said right again, and I hate saying fucking right on the show, but that's a disease that I have when I'm alone by myself. But you care, everybody cares. What can I put in instead of right? Maybe claps? Should I do more claps? I'll go ahead and clap 3 times on the ceiling if you want me. And twice on the pipe if you already know. Won't let it go? Fuck, I don't know. See? Look at all the rhymes we did there. We're having fun with Tony Orlando. And even more rhymes. I ran into O in 3 different fucking ways, and that's the... Oh, Jesus Christ.
There's nothing lonelier than being trapped inside yourself. It's easier to hide when you pretend yours a knife. Women love a guy with a giant neck.
We here, we are playing on a level that most will never see.